Let's see if we can get an answer to the stupid question. In what film is the real name of the bride revealed to be Beatrix Kiddo? Via Zoom, we are going to talk to George, who's joining us. Hey, George, how you doing, man?
Hey, Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, sir. All right, George, what movie will you find that the bride was named Beatrix Kiddo?
Kill Bill 2?
Yes, yes. I would have taken either one, but yeah, they kind of keep her name hidden in the first movie. And then you find out it's Beatrix Kiddo. So hang on a sec, George. We're going to set you up. You got yourself a $50 point card. It's one of our favorite places, Arnold's Family Fun Center. This week's big friggin' deal is from Arnold's. You can get two $50 point cards for the price of one. Enjoy go-karts, mini golf, bowling, and more action-packed excitement for all ages at Arnold's Family Fun Center in Oaks. And you can get this exclusive offer while the supplies last at WMMR.com/deals. So we're going to start with this story, and I missed reporting it yesterday, but there's a follow-up to it already. Tracy Morgan reassured fans he's doing okay. He had a medical scare during the Knicks and Heat game at Madison Square Garden. He said, "Thank you for all your concern. I'm doing okay now." The doctor said it was food poisoning.
Oh, man.
And he was in his hospital bed when he shared that statement. So the Knicks superfan had suddenly vomited onto the basketball court.
And it's on video.
And he had blood running from his nose as well.
Yeah.
And
Blood?
could barely stand up. Yeah. I think he probably puked so hard
He burst a blood vessel.
that blood vessel was popped open.
I mean, I would at least I don't know, get up and run.
He was on his
Just-
courtside.
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it came out like a rocket, and you can see him just kind of cock his head, and vomit comes out.
What did he eat? Did it was it TV dinner?
Encore.
Yeah, it was
Like
encore. No. So medics rushed to his aid, and he was escorted out on a wheelchair for further treatment. He kept his signature humor, joking that the Knicks are now 1-0 when I throw up on the court, so maybe I'll have to break it out again in the playoffs. The incident briefly halted the game as staff cleaned up the mess, which was not lost on Morgan, as he even said, shout out to the crew that had to clean that up. I appreciate you. Madison Square Garden and Knicks guard Josh Hart sent their well wishes, hoping to see him back courtside soon. But yeah, it was kind of scary.
Having had food poisoning twice, it is a freight train of joy.
So Ryan Reynolds is trying to get Justin Baldoni's $400 million defamation and extortion lawsuit against him dismissed, calling the claims clickbait and saying that they lack any legal merit in a new filing. Reynolds' attorneys argue that Baldoni's case is based on two alleged instances where Reynolds allegedly called him a, quote, predator, but they say that there is no evidence Reynolds didn't believe the statements to be true. So the actor's lawyers argue that it's not defamation if he really believed it. The allegation suggests that Mr. Reynolds is, according to his lawyer, genuinely, perhaps passionately, believes that Mr. Baldoni's behavior is reflective of a predator. They continued saying, while Mr. Baldoni may not appreciate being called a predator, those hurt feelings did not give rise to legal claims. Reynolds' lawyer says it's his right to express his thoughts on the matter, and he said Mr. Reynolds has a First Amendment right to hold Mr. Baldoni or any man who Mr. Reynolds believes sexually harassed his wife in deep disdain. The filing states, and a trial is set for March of next year, but he wants to be removed from it. Jonathan Majors, we were talking about him yesterday. He and Megan Good are now officially married.
How about that?
The couple who got engaged in November last year first shared their big news at the Ebony Power 100 Gala, where Good flashed her engagement ring, saying, "We're feeling great."
And we hope you are too. Quick question again in this whole thing, because that was the last ongoing bunch of crap. Megan Good is that the one he's accused of?
No.
Okay, that was the prior girlfriend.
Grace Jabari is her name.
Jabari, that's it, exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
cool word.
Jabari.
So their love story began in the Megan Good and Jonathan Majors story began in 2023 when they were first spotted together, with Good later revealing they had instant chemistry. She stood by Majors through the highly publicized trial, and we had mentioned yesterday that Rolling Stone had published previously unreleased audio of Majors admitting to strangling his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. He had said, quote, "I've never aggressed a woman, I aggressed you," in the recording, and she said, "You strangled me and pushed me against the car." Majors was sentenced to complete a 1-year in-person batterer's intervention program following his guilty verdict on assault and harassment charges last April.
Matrix is also heard in that recording admitting for Taste and More it's encore.
No way.
Whoa, shut up. But he can't sing. He had to just say it. So, Gal Gadot addressed her family in Hebrew and spoke about growing up in Israel at a ceremony Tuesday to unveil her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she said, I'm just a girl from a town in Israel. This star will remind me that with hard work and passion and some faith, anything is possible. She later returned to the idea to Cheers, saying to all the young women out there, the young people, especially young girls watching, if a girl from Rosh Hayan can get a star at the Hollywood Boulevard, then anything is possible. The ceremony to inaugurate the star was shielded from public view and briefly disrupted by a confrontation between pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian demonstrators. It also comes as Gadot's latest movie, the live-action version of Snow White, is roiled with some multiple controversies, including over potential tension between its stars over the Israeli-Hamas war and its depiction of the fairy tale's Seven Dwarves. Gadot's star was announced last year. She's the second Israeli to receive the accolade after media mogul Chaim Saban in 2017.
Oh, yeah. During the 80s, that guy was responsible for every Chuck Norris movie. And, they were, I think it was his brother, were a movie producing powerhouse.
Hey, Steve, when it comes to the Hollywood stars, and just in conjunction with movie promotion, which is fine. But before that, it was just like kind of an honor, right?
Yeah, now it seems it's more like a bought promotional thing.
Yeah.
Because, you look at Gal Gadot and you'd say, well, is that a star worthy? It used to be like people who were in the height.
Yeah,
the career, an established career. Yeah, you're right, Nick. It's morphed a bit,
and I don't begrudge her for getting one. It's totally fine. But you can buy one and you can pay to have one and promote it or whatever. So it just the fact that it goes along with movie promotions, I don't know, just bothers me a tiny little bit.
You can't just buy it; it has to be approved. There's a body that votes on whether or not. So like we couldn't go buy one. You know what I mean?
Right. But once you pay them, they'll approve it.
I don't know. Yeah. So after her ceremony, she posed with the star and her husband and their 4 daughters who range in age from 13 to 1. She survived, if you don't remember this, a life-threatening complication during her most recent pregnancy last year. So it was pretty close.
So I think Rachel Zegler is very attractive, and I don't remember the original Snow White dichotomy. The queen seemed stern. I mean, you have Gal Gadot, who's stunning. Being envious of another woman is kind of a tough.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Oh, man, look at that chick.
Yeah.
Well, if you recall, she was the fairest of them all, and then all of a sudden,
No. That wasn't Snow White. Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Magic mirror on the wall.
Magic mirror on. Was that Snow White?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's the fairest of them all?
I was thinking of Sleeping Beauty.
You're thinking,
I get them mixed up.
No,
I'm
Sleeping
sorry.
Beauty has the Billy Bass.
Yeah.
Continue.
And then also, but that Mandela effect is that magic mirror on the wall and / mirror, mirror on the wall. You guys are familiar with the Mandela effect? Okay, yeah. So that's one of the things was mirror, mirror on the wall. I always remembered it as mirror, mirror on the wall.
On the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
But it's actually magic mirror on the wall.
Okay. So moving on, let's see here. After a couple of unexplained weeks off, Kelly Clarkson was back on the job at the Kelly Clarkson Show yesterday. Viewers were looking for an explanation for her absence. They came away disappointed as the host made no mention of her hiatus.
Kind of weird.
As of now, the only thing fans have to go on was a TMZ report that Kelly was away due to a personal matter.
I know that she is still an active soldier of fortune. Do they think that?
Despite the mystery, viewers were relieved to Karaoke, which is what you love.
I love that.
So Gwyneth Paltrow spoke to Vanity Fair as part of a new cover story and shared coming movie Marty Supreme as well. And so the movie stars Timothée Chalamet as a ping pong pro, and Paltrow will star alongside him as the wife of a rival who ends up getting more than a little intimate with Timothy. So she said they meet, and she's had a pretty tough life, and I think he breathes life back into her, but it's kind of transactional for both of them. She said that, I mean, we have a lot of sex in this movie. There's a lot, and she says a lot. She emphasized. Now, she also jokes, and I love this, that she had to get one thing out of the way. She said, I was like, okay, great. I'm 109 years old. You're 14. But she also notes that he's a man who takes his work really seriously and is a fun partner. So they're going to, you have this kind of cougar type thing going on. And
is this a satirical
she says
kind
a lot of sex. I know nothing about if it's satire, comedy, straight drama. I have no idea. But this is the first I've read it today.
Yeah, well, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So yesterday during the show, the trailer for Happy Gilmore 2 came out. And as promised, the movie's going to be loaded with cameos. The long-awaited sequel brings back Adam Sandler, Julie Bowen, Chris McDonald, and even Ben Stiller, along with appearances
bit my hand. Oh, my God.
by Bad Bunny, Travis Kelce, and Sandler's daughters, Sadie and Sunny. Real professional golfers, John Daly, Scotty Scheffler, Roy McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, and more will show up too. No word on the storyline as of yet, but doesn't really matter. So, like the movie slogan states, Happy Gilmore is back.
You see Paige Sporanic in it?
Oh, she's in it?
Yeah, at the end when he's at, it's kind of like one of those golf simulators.
Yeah.
She's the woman who's running it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
If you go all the way to the end,
Pay
the
attention
clip here.
to the very end.
You'll see.
We were talking yesterday how I didn't get a whole lot from it. Like, I can't tell what they're going to be doing with this yet. It seems like Happy's character is way more low key than he was in the original. So
it seems like he's matured, and it seems that the environment around him is happening to him rather than him being the flashpoint for everything.
Yeah.
So it's okay though. Yeah, it's some people are upset that it's not going to the theaters and it's going directly to Netflix. Because that was part of the original experience.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that it's even happening at all is pretty cool. Just to see Ben Stiller show up. With his handlebar mustache is enough.
And he, with this being on Netflix, he's got a good track record as far as Casey is concerned with Hubie Halloween. So maybe this will be.
Yeah.
Maybe this will.
He's the only one putting out quality Netflix movies.
Absolutely.
So let's see. If you didn't see the Bob Dylan biopic, A Complete Unknown, in theaters, you're going to get a chance to see it at home because Hulu has set the streaming date for the film. Of course, scored 8 Oscar nominations, including Best Actor for Timothée Chalamet, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress for Monica Barbaro, Best Supporting Actor for Edward Norton, and so on.
So who's playing Barbaro?
No, there is. So Smarty Jones is going to be playing Barbaro.
What a performance! What an actor! So Nick, you thought great, really good.
I'm also really glad I saw it in the theater. No, I'd say it was great. I mean, the music was phenomenal. I saw it with my parents. They said that they felt like they were transported in time. To me, being in the theater was a communal experience. And so I'm glad I didn't wait to watch it at home. It's a really, really good movie. Chalamet's just incredible.
So Hulu subscribers can see what all the fuss is about when A Complete Unknown premieres March 27th.
And, she's amazing. Monica Barbaro as Joan Baez. I mean, there are 3 unbelievable performances in that movie. Chalamet, Barbaro, and Ed Norton as Pete Seeger.
So only about a week or so, and you'll be able to check that out. Let's see. Oh, this was cool. Netflix has announced that Sirens, a new dark comedy starring Julianne Moore, is going to be premiering on May 22nd. So the 5-episode limited series is based on writer and showrunner Molly Smith Metzler's play LMNOP, which I think is a great name. It's spelled ELEMENO is one word, and then PEA, LMNOP. It's a sharp, sexy, and darkly funny look at women, power, and class, according to Netflix. Now,
Does it involve ping pong?
No, the story follows Devon, played by the White Lotus's Megan Fahy, as she confronts her sister Simone, played by House of the Dragon's Millie Alcock, about her unsettling bond with her wealthy, mysterious boss, Michaela, who's played by Julianne Moore. Here's what's cool about it. It has a powerhouse cast that also includes Kevin Bacon and Glenn Howerton.
How about that?
Our buddy. So 2 Philly connections there with Kevin Bacon and Glenn Howerton. Sirens promises an explosive weekend of drama at Michaela's lavish beach estate. So we got to reach out to Glenn, see if he wants to get on and chat about that in the very near future. Before we play the clips, let me see if we got another story I
We
can
got stuff?
mention real quick. I just wanted to get one more in, and I have a bunch of things here. So after 3 seasons, Max is pulling the plug on the sex lives of college girls.
Aw.
Have you been watching it?
I watched the first season.
Okay.
You know what it's about is college girls having sex.
Well, I'm a fan.
And pretty much that.
I mean, look, there's
Is it a real?
Well, college boys having sex too, probably.
And one of the girls has sex with other girls.
So fans had an inkling as the mostly cliffhanger-free third season finale seemed more like a series finale to some, or like a final, although the characters
It's over.
were only midway through their sophomore year, by the way.
Nothing is over. He's a showrunner.
The show's creators say that was not their intent, with co-showrunner Justin Noble saying, I think just me as a creator, I'm losing interest in cliffhangers.
Cliffhangers. It's a Stallone movie.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey.
There's always
That's right. It all comes together. Like a tapestry.
Yeah, but it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
Nothing is over. College life and sex girls is not over. Cliffhanger.
The series was a solid ratings getter, scoring consistently near the
We'll
top.
have a sorority party. We'll do each other's hair and talk about boys.
Near the top of Max's top 10 list of most viewed shows. With that in mind, Warner Brothers Television is reportedly exploring finding a new home for the series. So,
What was the last show that anchored on another network?
yeah.
It doesn't happen frequently.
Was it Brooklyn Nine-Nine? One of those shows.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine moved from NBC to Fox.
I think it did pretty good there.
It did. Yeah. No, it was good.
All right. We got some clips to play. Leighton Meester and Luke Cook star together as a sibling buddy duo in the new drama series Good Cop, Bad Cop. And in this clip, they talk about which title matches whose character.
Off the bat, I would argue that I'm the good cop and he's the bad cop, but actually it's not so simple. He is, I think, very by the book, and I follow my heart and am a little bit more forgiving and connected to like the people in their story.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm very fact-based, not feeling-based.
It's not funny!
A new episode of Good Cop, Bad Cop airs today on the CW. Here's our next clip.
Just mesmerized by the sound.
You're thinking
of the
about
voice.
TV dinners.
The
all
sound of
right.
my voice. The Walking Dead is back, and so is Negan. Negan is still around.
Jesus, come on, man.
In this clip, Jeffrey Dean Morgan talks about reuniting with Lucille.
I've never had a prop in my career that I enjoyed. They're very burdensome to me, and there's something about that bat that even in between takes, I hold her, and I don't want him to take her away from her.
It's so wild. I mean, again, I think it was a breaking point for you and for me as well. That why are you not killing this guy? And then he's bringing back the weapon he used to cave in the skull of one of the other cast members, boyfriends.
I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I think he's great, but yeah, the character is just. But you know what? It was just a matter of, it has to be, of his popularity as a character. They probably had an end to him written, and they were like, man, this is a cash cow. We can't walk away from this, and they kept him in. So The Walking Dead Dead City is streaming now on Netflix.
Is this a entree into the sitcom Negan's Home?
Maybe. Hey, everybody, Negan's home. Hey. If you watch streaming, Steve does a Negan impression, and it's all physical.
Yeah.
You have to see it because
this is him coming home in the sitcom.
yeah, so
I'm home.
he has this very limber. Rolling around movement that in a way that he carries his body that is supposed to indicate he is just as relaxed as could
be.
possibly be.
No problem killing people with a bat.
Exactly. And Steve, your impression is just, it's a scream. All right. That's our entertainment report for today. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back in a moment. We have several things happening today. Bert Kreischer is going to be on the show today. We also have actor Brian Tyree Henry here in our studio to talk about the show Dope Thief, which takes place in Philadelphia. Both of the available episodes are now on Apple TV+. We'll go live on Fox Good Day and so much more. We'll be right back.
I say, shut up. We're just having fun. You know what I mean?
You're contradicting yourself here.
Contradicting myself.
He's admitting the hypocrisy here.
Yeah.
So you're saying on a completely visceral level, and you don't understand it.
Right.
Is it all just based on the fact that you think this song sucks?
Yeah,
When I think it's brilliant?
Well, all right. So
I think I'm mad about the song because it was presented to me, and I believe it was presented to me on Twitter. Like, dude, this is great.
What do you mean? It was posted.
No, yeah, but it was somebody sent it to me.
Oh,
so somebody added me, and they're
Great
like,
as in-
"This is great," and I was expecting it to be like this awesome song, and then I click on it, I'm like, "Oh,
That's not their fault. It's the person who sent it to you.
I think what they meant by this is great is look at this older couple having fun. That's probably what it means.
Fly all the way up.
Yeah.
Fly all the way up.
Did you see?
Fly all the way up.
I love that.
Fly all the way up.
Yeah.
Come on, Eagles,
wanna
do
hear his.
your thing. We need a Super Bowl ring. Fly all the way up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Wait, it's not even a whole yet.
It's like this.
Well,
It's like, yeah.
I'm on camera too.
it almost sounds like a someone from Maine. Out. Out.
Fly all the way up.
Yeah. Can we have some goddamn dinner now?
we should try and start a new chant." I think this one is
S-E-A-G. No, not Seagull?
no, not seagulls. No, fly all the way up.
Fly all the way up.
Yeah.
Fly all the way up.
Hang on, we have the actual.
Fly all
You've
the
come
way
around
up.
on this, haven't you?
We have the.
Fly all the way up.
I think we have the song that that inspired the
Come
whole thing.
on, Eagles, do your thing. We need a Super Bowl ring.
Wait, here's
Fly all the way up.
best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It's I've been with this woman for 33 years, and every day is a living hell.
Here we go.
Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. All the way up. Nothing
I hear his part now.
I'm all the way up.
All right, so that's what it came from.
I hear his part now.
Yeah. What? Is the dinner ready? Yeah. They're an adorable couple. They're having a blast. Yeah.
Well, I think that is the guy filming. The guy in the background. I don't think he
Doesn't ever
does
say anything.
I don't think he does
He
anything.
is dancing.
He is dancing. Yes.
Yeah.
He's got some moves.
Is this song done now? Did we win the Super Bowl yet?
Have you seen these tattoos that people will get of waveforms?
Of what now?
And you can use an app on your phone that reads the waveform and actually plays your tattoo. A gal got a tattoo, a waveform tattoo of the last voicemail that her grandmother sent her, left her before she died.
That's freaking wild.
And it was like, hey, honey, just want to call and say hi. All right, I'll talk to you later, something like that. And so she took the digital waveform, which any digital audio equipment, you visually see a waveform, and they managed to tattoo it. Here's a video of it up here on the monitor here, Steve. And they tattoo it on their skin, and then you hold this app up to it, and it reads it and plays it. How
In their voice?
In their voice.
Shut.
Because the waveform is precise to the to the
tonal quality of the voice.
And it's amazing. Now, my question is how long is that going to last? That tattoo is eventually going to, bleed a little bit in the size.
Hi, sweetie. I just called
But
now I regret getting that tattoo.
But it's pretty amazing.
Probably should have watched my weight.
Yeah.
Hi, sweetie. It's Grandma talking.
There's stretch mark forms in the middle of it.
Yep.
Expand or contract over time.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool. Talk about a tattoo that has some meaning.
Yeah.
And that can be converted to the audio is very cool. Even still, just a visual representation of your loved one's voice.
I just don't understand how that works. How it's their actual voice and not. Do you know what I mean? Like,
because the waveform is Now, it may be what happens is. I don't know the specifics. In the perfect scenario, the waveform represents exactly all the tonal aspects of what it's representing. However, maybe what it does is the app plays it back through a stored recording that matches that waveform.
Let's find out. I'm looking it up right now.
Because it almost seems.
Where are my cookies?
Yeah, it almost seems impossible, and you want them. You want the waveform to in their best.
Right? Yeah.
I have to I'm pissed.
It's great hearing him again.
You don't want me dead. Okay, you can have my money, you blood-sucking bastards.
I also like to look at animated feature film. Because
Yes.
we watch a lot of animated movies in my house. The Boss Baby. Nick, you liked that, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
I saw it. It's funny. It's funny for adults.
Yeah.
The Breadwinner.
Oh, is that one of those lame ones? That...
And from Czechoslovakia, the breadwinner.
I didn't know you spoke Czech.
They show a clip or something. You don't even know what it is.
It's the Czech Republic now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the cashier's
But
Czech
Steve's
Republic.
right. This is a headstrong young girl from Afghanistan. She disguises herself as a boy and blah, blah, blah.
All right, the Breadwinner.
Because she wants to learn and then go to school and go to college and have a life. Shut up.
Okay.
Kathy, Coco's on here.
Yay, that was so good. I loved it.
That was so good.
I like two chickens to Coco, please.
Is that really how it sounds?
It's two chickens to Coco. I think you need the photosensitive screening.
It's fine. I hate myself.
I like Coco.
So Coco's on there.
It was very good.
Ferdinand, which none of us have seen.
It's
have
John
we?
Cena doing the voice of the Ferdinand the Bull.
I would like to see that. And then Loving Vincent. That's got to be another one of those, right?
Yep.
From Romania, Loving Vincent.
Get that bear.
It's about Vincent Van Gogh?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like a great cartoon.
Boring. Yeah. Maybe one of the guys from The Bachelor would be there.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love you. I cut my ear off.
Saoirse Ronan's in that too.
He has
Oh,
a
is
talking
she?
cat.
I love it.
Oh, this is rotoscoped. So the process of rotoscoping is taking live film and coloring it in.
Oh.
It's not even animation. Shut up.
All right, let me stop me on a category that you care about. All right, foreign language film, film editing, production design, costume design.
Ooh.
She's back.
Ooh.
I say Coco.
All right, here we go. Beauty and the Beast.
You know what?
They had great outfits in there.
I was a sucker for that. But did you see it?
I didn't see it. No,
Kathy,
I didn't see it.
I was not, I wouldn't say I was resisting it, but I'm like, how are they going to improve on the original French version?
Right.
And then the animated version? They did a great job.
All right, so this is a costume design. Darkest Hour, Phantom Thread, L, why does it have an L there? It's The Shape of Water.
The Shape of Elvis.
No, it was L, The Shape of Water.
Okay.
And Victoria and Abdul. I don't know that one.
That's the Queen Victoria
Yeah.
goes to like
Right.
Iran or something.
Okay. Makeup and hairstyling.
Nah.
Original score.
Yes, yes.
And
Michael Giacchino.
Michael Giacchino has anything on here. I don't know.
He did Coco.
Is-
And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Preston and Steve Show in Philadelphia, Kathy Romano.
The world of animation is a wonderful world.
All right. Here are the original score. Dunkirk. Lisa Marie Presley.
Wow.
Lisa Marie turns 50 years old.
That's right. That's little Lisa Marie.
Yeah, little.
It's okay. It's okay. She's 14.
Well, it was a different time.
It was a
back
different
then, yeah.
time, man, when you could date a 14-year-old and have sex with a monkey in the room.
Well, this is his daughter. This is the king's daughter, Lisa Marie, not Scylla.
Scylla. Yeah.
So
I get them all confused.
I know. But she is, she's turning 50 years old today, so it's a big one for her.
Now, she was married to Michael Jackson and Randy Keough.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's Randy Keough?
I think
Danny
that
guy or
Danny Keough.
Danny Keough.
Yeah, and then she was also married to Nicolas Cage, and then she was married to a guy named Michael Lockwood, and
It's
she's
a whole morass of stuff.
currently single.
She participated in probably one of the most awkward kisses ever televised, which
Yeah.
was the MTV. And he said it wouldn't last. Look, I'm hetero.
It was so weird. It was so weird.
Look, I can kiss chicks. All right, here we go.
Let's just count down.
It took every bit of effort.
Your little boy, your little boy, your little boy.
Oh, dude. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I did it!
Oh, Jesus. That's what's going through his head.
Your little boy, your little boy, your little boy, your little boy. Your little... I did it!
You donked it. Oh, my God. Oh, Lord.
They said it wouldn't last. In your face. I'm a little boy forever.
Has she ever said anything?
She says, she actually says it was a good relationship, like a regular relationship. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's how he powers through.
Your little boy, your little boy.
All right, here you go. Your little boy, your little boy, your little boy, your little boy.
All right, jeez.
It's like when we were eating the surströmming.
Yeah, you're like,
all right.
This is prime rib.
Prime rib.
And there's only one waterbed store in New Jersey. And they have, I'm looking up the pricing, but it's conveniently located near Route 1 and 287.
That's like when you call it.
Yes, hello?
Close
Dear God.
Yes, hello? What? That's a pizza place. You got the wrong number.
Hang on, let me.
What a message is it? Yes, hello, can I help you? Yes, Blue Night. Yes, we have them. And we're open.
It's like.
Yes, hello.
I don't think I've ever heard you yell into that filtered microphone for.
Go ahead, kid.
He's looking for it. Hang on a second.
Yes, hello. Yes, waterbeds, we have them. Waterbeds, hello. You're the receiver.
Falling on the floor.
Yes, hello.
Wait a minute. Do it with the receiver. There we go. All right.
Yes, hello. Yes, waterbeds, we got them.
I don't know. That's got to be a lonely gig.
I grew up, where in St. Louis there was a place called the Waterbed Store, and it was they had several locations around the city and everything.
Yes, hello. Yeah, who is it? What? No, wrong number.
Damn it. They sell them on Amazon.
Please stand, please. Yes, we're open. You just say, I'll come to you.
Is this the Waterbed Store?
Don't even drive here. I'll come to you. Where are you?
Thanks, Kath. In the entertainment report, we were talking about the story that who was it? Tracy Morgan. Yeah, Tracy Morgan was at a Knicks game, and at some point, he's courtside, and he just gets overwhelmed with nausea, and he puked on the basketball
court.
And they had to stop the game. They had to come clean it up, and it was, and actually blood was coming out of his nose too. So it was like some serious force behind his pukitude.
He was training so hard. They say he burst a blood vessel. I've had that happen. I've had that happen when I've in various situations. Sometimes training, the other way. But it's not pleasant.
Yeah, I've never had a puke and blood combo before. That would be
it's wonderful.
Like you're throwing them and you're like, really? That too?
Thanks for adding that on.
Oh my God.
How about giving me hemorrhoids while you're at it?
And by the way, the food, because they're saying it's food poisoning, the food at Madison Square Garden is really good.
Yeah.
It might not have been there.
It might not have been there if he'd gone out to dinner or something like that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't hear about anybody else getting sick all over the court or anything.
No. It was just him. And that's even better because you're the only one and everyone's looking at you because you're sitting courtside.
Yeah.
And there's video footage of the moment. If you want to watch it, Kathy, it's very available.
No, I still don't. There's no way I would have done that. I would have gone towards the back of the seat or something. What's funny is...
he was leaning over because he was sick, and then, you've had those. Yeah.
So the court, too, like at a basketball game, it's like, that is like precious.
Yeah.
Like, I remember working at the Sixers, like I couldn't wear heels. You're not allowed to walk on the court with heels, like it had to be...
Could you puke on it?
A certain temperature in the arena, depending on who was playing there. Like, everything is so precious to them. So the fact that there was vomit and blood all over the court.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often where people spill their drinks and stuff like that.
Yeah, right up there. You'd figure because they're literally courtside.
So this is right on the heels of a recall story that Kathy had in the news for, it was Stouffer's, these meals that you buy, and there's like wood in them or whatever. Anyhow, so you want to check and see if you have any, make sure that they're not on the recall list. But Casey was saying, because I had mentioned Salisbury steak, that's kind of a regular thing that my family has, the kids do. And Casey had said that he has not had Salisbury steak since you were like 8 years old or something like that.
Something along those lines. I have vivid memories of getting sick in my back bathroom, and it was on New Year's Eve. It was a special New Year's Eve dinner.
Yeah.
And I loved Salisbury steak.
Bet you can remember every aspect of that moment and at that time when it happened, because I know for me, my personal experience, it's that way. It's that traumatic.
Rochelle, so he hasn't had Salisbury steak since then. And you think you're ready now, finally.
I think I'm going to try it.
After all these years, maybe trying again. But my wife has one, and this is, and feel free to jump in if you want to let us know what's happened with you. We'll take Zooms. You can text word Zoom to 39333, and we'll send you a link today to get in. But to this day, Rochelle hates peaches, cannot stand them.
Really? So she had a violent reaction to peaches?
Well, it was peach schnapps, but it was close enough.
Yeah, the smell.
To where not only does she never, ever, ever want to have that liqueur again, but just peaches, the actual fruit. She has been it has been sullied for her.
What about it? What if you go into Bed Bath & Beyond and you were to smell peaches?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know what she thinks about the scent of it alone, because it has to do with the taste and the texture. She doesn't like the texture too.
Right.
But I think it was that she got sick from peach schnapps.
Yeah.
And that has done it for her.
What about apricots? Can she do apricots? Because those are kind of close, aren't they?
So, well, maybe it's weird. It's how you react is how you react. For me, it was, and I told the story many times before, it was second grade, Grace L. Hubbs High School, elementary school, ziti, school ziti, and I blew chunks like nobody's business. I was so embarrassed, and the custodian came out with kind of powder that they poured down. It took decades, and then I finally tried it, and now I love ziti. I am not sure. I might be on the cusp of returning to lo mein, because my second food poisoning event.
And you haven't had it? I
had ordered chicken lo mein. They gave me pork lo mein. The pork was bad.
Oh, God.
And I had that, Preston. I had the vomit and the blood. I woke up on the floor of the bathroom because the tiles were cool on my stomach. It was that bad. I still tiptoe around the notion of having lo mein again.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about pork? Did it take you a while for pork, or was
Never been a big pork fan to begin with, so that wasn't a loss.
Okay. Here's a text from somebody that says, I'm not believing the food poisoning story. You know when you're getting sick with that, he would have had time to get to the bathroom. I disagree.
I disagree as well.
I think that there are times where it can come on so quickly that you had no idea it was even bubbling there. And we're talking about a sports venue, man.
Yeah.
Even if you're courtside, there's maneuvering to get to the bathroom, and you might just lose it.
Yeah, there's definitely maneuvering, but I agree with that person, because anytime I've had food poisoning, I have not felt good prior to it. It didn't just all of a sudden I was completely fine cheering on a game and then vomiting. Like,
You've never gone from zero to puking?
No.
Oh, man. I have, like, feeling maybe just a little funky.
Yeah.
But not enough to go, I need to go to the bathroom right now. Like, man, I hope this doesn't get worse. And all of a sudden it's like 3, 2, 1, bam. Yeah. And the big indicator for me when I know it is imminent, it is absolutely inevitable. There's no way I'm going to be stopped.
I know
Maybe
what
I'm
you're
stop
gonna
it. Say it.
Mouth-watering?
Mouth-watering.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like someone poured, a cup of water into your mouth, and it's like, oh, God. Okay.
Here we go.
Here
we go.
Yep.
Step back, folks, and watch all the action.
Yep.
So mine is a brownie from Starbucks. I had it. I had it in the middle of the day. I went out to dinner that night. I was at the restaurant, and I was like, I don't feel good. Like, it was a whole big group of people. I went to the bathroom, and I was like, I need to get out of here. Like, I know I'm going to vomit. Like, I need to go. So I left the restaurant, left the everybody that was there, got in the car, was driving home. I was coming from Chestnut Hill. So I was on, Germantown, and there were cars behind me, and at one point there were cars on either side of the street. There was nowhere for me to pull over, and I was like, it is coming. Well, the Starbucks cup that I had coffee in was still in the car. And so whatever was left, I dumped it out and I was throwing up brownie into the cup while driving down Germantown because I couldn't pull over. Eventually, when I was able to pull over, there was a spot I did, but it was disgusting. The cup was like overflowing and I was dumping it out the window and continuing to vomit.
So question, has this ruined brownies for you?
Not brownies there. I've never.
Just that specific one?
Just that specific one.
Okay, you're lucky then.
I've never gone back to get one.
So to have a whole category of food removed from your menu, so twice in my life that's happened. Again, I'm dancing with lo mein right now about the possibility. It took me decades for ziti.
All right, we're going to go to Zoom, and we have Colin who is joining us. Yo, Colin, morning, bud.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma. All right,
I don't have Maeve with me today. I'm on the road.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, you got to tell this story. I have this written down. What happened with you? What's the story?
Unlike Kathy, I did not poop in a Starbucks cup on Germantown Pike. But this might be on my own. About 20 years ago, I was around 10 years old. For some reason, I ate 2 family-sized servings of cream spinach. I don't know why. And
oh my God.
I was sick, super sick from it. Haven't eaten cream spinach in 20 years.
Wow.
Cream spinach in 20 years.
I ate 2 family-sized servings. Who knows?
Have you flirted with the notion, or is it just absolutely not?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope, nothing.
And so that's killed it for you. And man, there's some damn good cream spinaches at steakhouses.
Sometimes, yeah. So, and then, is that the one and only for you right now?
That's it. I want to blame my parents for allowing me to do that. But I'll fall on the sword for that.
So it sounds like it was a matter of overeating. You overindulged and you filled up your stomach too much, probably.
That happens. That's baseball.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's the fear of dancing down that. I didn't have to have this. Like, you return to your cream spinach and it happens again. It probably won't because you're not eating 2 family-sized servings of it. But still, in the back of your mind, it's like, what if I bring this upon myself? I had one with an...
Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it, buddy.
Acai bowls.
Yeah.
They were all the rage for a while.
Yeah.
I friggin' loved them. Now, did I vomit? No.
You just ate too much?
No. I had a reaction to this... Everything good is in it.
Yeah.
Berries and stuff. It's all good for you. And I remember being waylaid in bed. I went home from here, actually, and I was in bed and like, what the hell's going on?
I bet you it was. Did you have granola in it?
I did.
I bet you it was the granola.
Really?
Yeah. Because granola and oats, there's like some of them are terrible for you, and you have to watch which ones you eat. So if you had an acai bowl made for you, you don't know what granola is going in it.
So I did, and I did. So maybe that was it, man. Because I'm like, this. It's like it would be like getting sick from eating an apple. It's like it's the healthiest thing.
Same thing happened to my cousin Steve. We rode our bikes from Wild Crest to Stone Harbor, and there was a little acai bowl place in there, and I was all the rage at the time. So I was like, oh, you got to try this thing. So he did. It didn't land right with him. It was fine for me.
Same thing.
Yeah,
right?
Same exact thing, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks about the granola, Kathy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So my one contribution to this, because I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, I don't think I have anything that I've eaten and I've have completely stayed away from ever since. But no, there was one. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again quickly. I used to have a season pass to Six Flags. My mom would go and drop us off, and we'd just stay there all day long. So I remember one day I went, and I'd spent all my money very quickly. I had no cash left. Mom wasn't coming to get us till later in the day. I am... At some point later on, I am starving. Like, I had spent all my money on games and things like that. Out of cash. I wasn't. No, I'm sorry. I had like $1.50.
Okay.
I'm like, what can I get for this? And I went by a funnel cake stand, and they were cooking them, and they smelled so good. And I'm like, all right, I'm getting one of those. I have just enough. This is all the money I have. My stomach is completely bare. Nothing in it for hours and hours and hours. Essentially, that's a grease bomb.
That's what you're having.
Okay.
You might as well just ladle grease down your throat.
And you throw a bunch of powdered sugar on top of that.
Here, have this too.
So I eat about half of it, and it came right back up, and I have never touched another funnel cake.
No.
The scent of them makes me a little bit
woozy, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Just the smell of freshly cooked funnel cake makes me sick.
How old?
I was probably 13.
So we're talking again decades ago, and yet it can still, it haunts you.
Yeah.
Preston, I can't have funnel cake, and it's because I ate funnel cake and then went on the Gravitron. And I have never in my life felt so terrible. I don't think I have ever eaten funnel cake since that time, and I maybe was like 11, 12.
Really? Like, you stop and think about it. But funnel cake is mostly served at like amusement parks and rides.
Yes.
That is like the worst food to stick down your gullet. Like a grease bomb is exactly what you called it.
And to be honest, Kathy, it's not such a bad thing.
Yeah, no,
you know,
no.
I'm really glad that I don't eat those
Oh my God,
things.
doctor, can you do anything?
Yeah. All right, we have another Zoomer on the line. We're going to go to Amy because she's got a story about a food she can never eat again because of an incident. Hi, Amy. You're on the air. Good morning.
Morning, guys. Sorry to bother you guys at work.
It's all right. It's nice to see you today. All right, so what was it? When did it happen? Tell us, please.
So when I was a kid, my dad was one of 12. So we were not allowed to get up from the table till we ate all the food on our plate because food for him when he was a kid was very you had to really grab for it.
Yeah.
So I was about 8 years old, I want to say. Scallops and spaghetti. Ate all the spaghetti. Didn't like the scallops. And sat at the table till about 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Ice cold scallops at that point. My mom's like crying. Just eat the scallops.
Oh, no.
So I down all the scallops, and then I ran to the bathroom and just threw them all back up. And I have not touched seafood. To this day.
A whole
seafood
genre of food was ruined for you. Wow.
Man.
Yep. I'm like Steve, like you, dipping my toe back, maybe with like a crab cake here and there.
Yeah. You're exactly right. You sort of dance around it. I've been around Lo Mein, but I haven't gone down Lo Mein Avenue.
Amy, did your dad apologize to you or anything for making you eat that?
No. There was none of that. It was just, I should have been lucky.
And that rule still applied after that. Clean your plate.
I think after that it was lessened a little bit. I don't have any other scarring experiences after that. So.
And was your mom a stickler for wire hangers?
Yeah.
Actually, she was.
That's funny.
There you go.
So when it comes to seafood,
Thank you, Amy.
because we went out, big family dinner, mom, dad, brothers, sisters, and wives and husbands and all that for Christmas. And my wife got this seafood combination over pasta. And I think one of the mussels never opened. And that's like a red flag.
Yeah,
So what is? I'm not eating mussels really and ever.
They're bad. I think if
they don't open.
If they don't open, they're bad, and you shouldn't eat them.
And so at least one or two of the mussels in this dish was not open, but she ate it. Ooh. She literally threw up out the car door on the way home.
Oh my God!
I wonder if she's ever had mussels since.
Immediate.
She wants mussels all over her body.
No, shellfish and stuff like that. I would imagine that if you eat a bad mussel, if you get sick from that, then clams are going to be off the table too, right?
It looks like the same thing.
All right. So here's the story with the shells that don't open. It says the sign that they were likely dead before cooking and potentially unsafe to eat, or that they are simply undercooked. So when you have like little necks and you throw them in there and you steam them for a while, as soon as they open, they're done. But if they don't open, you chuck them out right away.
Never knew that.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go next to a Zoom with Allison, who's joining us. Hello there, Allison.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for bothering me at work.
What do you do? Where do you work? It looks like you're at home.
I do. I work from home.
All right.
So.
Nice.
But still, I appreciate it.
So this was something 15 years ago, and you can't have it ever, or still have it, right?
No. I found a new healthy side dish of rice and salsa mixed together. Super simple, super delicious.
Sure.
And then I threw it up on the side of I-95 South.
How soon after you ate it were you ralphing it back up?
Probably like 3 hours.
3 hours. So you had a little gestation period. I've had things in my life, and Preston, that's why I know people who don't believe this. I've literally had things where within seconds it's coming back up again. So,
It wasn't. It was good. and I enjoyed it and I loved it, and then it came out my nose.
No. Salsa out the nose?
And rice out the nose. So you had little grains that made it up into your nose.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah. You have a whole texture level of repulsion that I can't even wrap my mind around.
So has that caused you to be scarred? Can you eat rice? Can you eat salsa separately?
Yes. I can eat rice. I can eat salsa with chips, but the thought of them together I'm nauseous.
Okay, what about, say, you get a burrito that has rice in it and there's salsa involved too? No?
I'm super boring. I don't like, I make burritos with rice, chicken, cheese, and lettuce. I'm like,
But you would stay away from the salsa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, a follow-up question, Allison. On 95 South, when you drive by that area, do you still reminisce about, yep, that's where it was?
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
I believe.
mean, that's where I threw up.
Oh, you remember where you I remember.
Thank you, Allison. Take care.
I was driving.
too.
All right.
I was driving by an Outback Steakhouse about a week ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't full throw up.
Oh,
but I went behind one of the booths. Couldn't make it to the bathroom in time. And every time I go by, I was like, I do it, like I avert my gaze, like it's the ultimate shame. Because I don't even eat it Outback that much. I'm not a big Outback fan, but we happen to be there.
Yeah.
Press, you and Kathy and I were talking the other night when we were out to dinner about, you were saying because when you eat well, you don't go to the bathroom as much.
Yeah.
And then, but we were talking about how sometimes when the food just goes right through your system, we're not even talking about throw up here. That is your body saying, get it out.
Get it out.
Get it out.
Yeah, I was telling these guys, I've noticed when I'm being very diligent with nutrition and I'm eating well, I don't poop that often. And my rationale, my theory is that my body's actually using the things that are being digested.
I think you're right.
But when I eat garbage, I have wonderful, glorious dumps. It's great.
And yes, that was our conversation at dinner.
At dinner.
Right.
Yes.
Kathy brought it up.
All right, we're going to...
What makes you crap the most?
All right, we got Bill who's jumping in via Zoom. Hey, Bill. Morning, buddy.
Hey, good morning.
Morning. All right, so we're talking about something you've eaten at a point in your life you got sick from and you can never have it again. What is that?
So for me, it is a very specific brand of hot dog. It's, I don't know if I can say it.
Sure. What brand is it? They only did you wrong.
It was Bar S.
Bar S.
Does the S stand for the S word?
Yeah.
Probably.
I've never heard of Bar S.
I've never heard of that brand.
So literally whatever that was the cheapest is what I could afford in college. So that's why I went and got that. It was a Friday night, it was literally after classes and whatever. I had two of them. Next thing I know, getting sick both ends for like the whole weekend. I was out of commission, couldn't do anything.
Did that kill hot dogs in general for you for a while?
Just for a little bit, but then because I'll still see that brand, not down here in Florida, but like when I was back in PA, I would see it, be like, no, I don't care if that was like buy one get 10 for free. And I was like, there's no way I'm eating
that's good. That's good possum.
Well, you can buy them on Walmart.com right now for a 12-pack for only $1.99. So if you're still on a budget.
Wow.
By the way, it says golf. What does it say on your shirt, Preston? Did you see this?
No.
Golf Quest.
So, I actually work for a nonprofit down here called Quest Inc., not Quest Diagnostics, but we serve kids and adults with developmental disabilities.
Oh.
And we have Golf Quest as one of our big fundraising events down here.
Nice. Okay.
Excellent. All right, Bill, I had to follow up. You also had a story about food coloring, apparently.
Yeah. So, being in college and smart but dumb, we decided to do the gallon challenge, but we wanted to make it a little more colorful. But we were safe. We wanted to make sure it was okay to drink food coloring before you do that, just to see if it would actually affect the color of the milk when it comes back up.
Oh my!
It does. So if you drink blue food coloring or whatever else you pick, that will be what the color milk is when you throw it back up.
So you drink food coloring first, then you drink the gallon of milk. The milk mixes with the food coloring in your stomach and it comes up a different color.
Awful.
You vomit blue milk, like you're with Aunt Beru in Star Wars.
Yep.
Wow.
It's amazing.
All right. That's an experiment we should try. Would you be up for that, Kathy?
Oh, God, no. No.
Yes, Casey.
Real quick, Bill, you said down here. Where are you?
Oh, so I live in Davenport, so pretty much between Orlando and Tampa.
Oh, wow. All right.
But I'm from Delco.
Yeah.
Nice. If we do the spring training to Universal thing again, we'll swing by and say hi as we drive through there. All right.
As you should. You'll be stuck on I-4 like everybody else.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Have a good one, buddy. Appreciate you checking in. All right. I think we can do another call. Trying to keep an eye on the clock. One is a quick one. All right. We'll go to. Can we pull up Jennifer, please? And she'll be our final Zoomer for this particular chit chat that we're having about eating something and never being able to eat it again because you had a bad reaction to it. So, Jennifer, good morning.
Good morning.
And I guess I should ask where you are because people are texting in from all over the country. Or, I mean, they're Zooming in. Where are you?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. All right. Exotic New Jersey. How exotic.
How is it there?
All right.
Sunshine State.
What's your story, Jennifer?
So it was back in college. We had a sorority formal, and I hadn't eaten really much all day. We got to the hotel and immediately started drinking. My roommate was like, "Oh, let's do White Russians," and so she made these White Russians in not just like a little glass like you would see at a bar, but it was in one of those plastic tumblers. So we were drinking them like, I would say it was like a good 16 ounce tumbler, and we were just drinking all afternoon. I don't know how we even got dressed for like doing our hair and everything. We go up for our like the toast that they do before the actual formal, and they were serving pink champagne. So all of a sudden I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the toast and drink the pink champagne within minutes. It was almost like a cement mixer. Like it was and I felt really nauseous. Go down to the dinner, and we all had to, it was like a buffet style. And my guy friends were like, "You don't look so good." And they're like, I was just like, I don't know. Something's wrong. And they're like, "Look at the butter on those green beans." And I went, and I just booked for the bathroom. And my poor boyfriend at the time was just like, "Oh my God." I was just vomiting.
What color? What color came out?
It looked like cream. Like it's just that from that milk and the
yes,
White Russian.
Yeah, the White Russian and the pink champagne.
Right, so what did you have to swear off of after that?
Oh, I haven't had Kahlua, and I can't even remember when. And obviously champagne is like
champagne, which is kind of a basic. Even I can have a sip of champagne now and then.
Yeah,
but
so it just it was
shut
bad.
it off.
It was so bad. And my poor boyfriend, he missed out on the entire formal. He's like, he stayed with me. He's just like, "What, am I gonna leave you so that you can die in your own puke?" And I'm like,
now that's a hero.
Wow. So do you think there'll be a day when you'll be ever have a sip of champagne again?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, some point.
Not now though.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it. Thank you for checking in all the way from New Jersey this morning. All right.
My alcohol that I can't have is vodka and orange juice.
Oh, screwdriver, huh?
Yep. Nope.
Okay.
No.
But
I think it was the first time I really drank.
Yeah.
And that's what I had.
That's usually a beginner drink.
So you didn't do the Orange Crush at because that's kind of
no. It was tequila.
It was tequila.
Remember,
that's right.
he made it with tequila. I cannot do vodka and orange juice. I
So
just
the realm
can't do it.
Of booze, it's easier, I think, to swear, I'm not going to do vodka ever again.
Right.
To me, I find the notion of a food or having an entire category like seafood.
Like all seafood done. That's
Done.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. Interesting. It's all keyed off of Tracy Morgan vomiting on the Knicks hard floor on the hard court for the game the other night. But sometimes there's a food you just have to swear off because you had a bad reaction to it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to the Bizarre File. We'll also check in with our friends at Fox 29 this morning for Good Day and more. We got a lot of people on the show today, too. We'll be right back. I'm going to go to Jim, uses a waterbed still. Hey, Jim, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you? Gadzooks.
Gadzooks. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I own a waterbed. I use it every night.
Oh, no, we're talking about waterbeds, not waterbeds.
Different product.
Different product.
What is
Jim,
that?
how long have you had it?
20 years.
Yeah, Jim, is that you? You want to buy another one? Jim!
I actually had to buy another one about 3 years ago and had to order it from California.
Okay.
Jim, is that you? Jim! He's the last waterman owner.
Jim, is that you? Jim! By the way, here's a text that says Jordan Woods is her best friend. How do you report on them all the time and not know this? I don't pay attention to
Yes, of
reports.
course.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this
I
is
just
all-
report this stuff.
Yeah, seriously.
Our goal is to not retain any of
At
this.
6:58, we have forgotten everything about the Giants.
Absolutely.
And that's the way it should
Well,
be.
Jordan Woods was never, ever spoken on this show.
What?
No, I don't know the name Jordan Woods either.
I'm sure at some time or another.
If I have, I think through therapy I was able to forget it.
But anyhow, as Kylie's baby news took over the internet, her mom, Chris, was whooping it up
Jesus Christ.
at Chrissy Teigen and John Legend's house.
Stop it.
And they were watching the Super Bowl. But it looks like... Hold on. It looks like Jenner may have had too much fun. Tegan shared a shot of a broken table on Snapchat explaining that Jenner crashed into it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Kris Jenner smashed into the table, apparently, and took it out while
Oh no, that's my favorite table.
That's while she was
It's
whooping,
Shelbyville, isn't it?
whooping it up. Our next guest is an accomplished writer and director. A couple little things you may have heard of before, like Loopers and Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And we you want me to play his case? There you go. Need a fanfare when we bring somebody on board. But he is here to promote the film Knives Out, which is star-studded, looks really, really cool. Please welcome writer and director Ryan Johnson.
Thank you.
Hey, Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing great, Preston. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. We're excited about this.
Tremendously.
We're fans of the murder mystery, the whodunits, and all that, and you just don't see them that often. And
this style, because in the vein of Agatha Christie, and in the vein of 12 Little Indians, Murder on the Orient Express, the Hitchcock, that sort of stuff. And when they're done well, there's nothing like them. They just totally bring you in.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite genres, man. Like I grew up reading Agatha Christie's books. I grew up reading like the movies based on them, and it's so much like everybody loves a good murder mystery, like a good whodunit, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And what also is one of the few that allows for great ensemble work.
Yes. Yeah. You got like a rogues gallery of suspects.
Yeah.
The idea with this movie was let's do a star-studded cast. It's kind of like old school like that. Let's have it be so like everyone who pops up on screen, you're like, oh, it's that person.
Yeah, let me rattle off the names, okay, for those who may not be familiar. Christopher Plummer, Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Tony Collette, Don Johnson, who's been doing some great stuff.
The Watchmen.
Yeah.
Frank Oz, even.
Yeah, we got Frank in there.
Awesome.
Christopher Plummer.
The
great Christopher Plummer.
The legend, yeah.
And it's exactly, also you get a chance to, with a cast like that, and Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, I remember when I first saw the original Murder on the Orient Express, and that actually got me reading Agatha Christie. You can high concept characters a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. They're just on the verge of caricature. You can really, and that's the thing with this. It's a fun movie, and the cast, all of these stars, they just showed up ready to play. And they're having a blast. I
love Daniel Craig. And Chris Evans looks to be.
He's playing a jerk. He's playing a real jerk.
And savoring. Everyone seems to say Michael Shannon is super intense, and yet he gets to.
Oh, he's having fun. Daniel Craig. If you just know him from the Bond movies, you would think he's a really serious, intense guy. He is so much fun in real life. He's like a blast, and he's having a ball in this movie.
So what's it like? I would imagine you have scenes where everybody's in it at the same time.
Those are my favorite ones.
What's that got to be like? That where in between takes where these people are just kind of it's got to be fun.
It was a party, man.
Yeah.
And also, we shot in a house in Massachusetts. It's like in a murder mystery mansion, but we were in like a real house, and so everyone liked each other. And in between takes, people wouldn't like go back to their trailers and get on their cell phones. They would all go down in the basement of this house, like like around the pool table and hang out.
Exactly what
It was like summer camp for movie stars. It was great. It was really fun.
So-
and I think you can see on screen how much fun everyone was having.
The conceit is a celebrated writer, 85 years old, I guess.
plumber,
He's having a birthday. The family's a little disenfranchised. He wants to bring them together, reunite them. And in classic fashion, he ends up dead.
Yep.
And and then you have your but all the tropes that should be there are there. You know.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways, it's very traditional. Yeah, exactly. But then it also throws some curveballs at you. And the big thing it does, a lot of times when you see Agatha Christie adaptations, I mean, I love them dearly, but they're period pieces.
Yeah.
This is set today. It's modern,
I love that.
and all the characters are modern types, and so it's very much updated for 2019.
And you're inherently you have a good sense of humor, and you see it permeate all your work. And I think a lot of times people forget that the original Agatha Christie stuff and the original Hitchcock always had a sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
I remember there's a scene in Frenzy, the movie Frenzy, where they're sitting having a meal, and the meal is supposed to be analogous to the, and it's just funny, and all that stuff works, and that makes it even more, to see.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, and Poirot, Christie's Detective Poirot. When Peter Ustinov, he's my favorite Poirot.
I think you're right.
Back in the day, and he got the clownishness of him.
I think Albert Finney was a little hard to understand.
I love him. He's going all out, man. But I mean, I think Branagh's Poirot is terrific.
Yeah.
But Ustinov and David Suchet is terrific. Ustinov is my favorite, though. And there's something funny about they're having fun with these characters.
Oh yeah.
Well, Steve had mentioned a movie the other day that I loved, and I run into very few people who remember it, but was Murder by Death. Do you remember?
Oh God, yeah, of course.
Such a hilarious movie. Now it's a little more slapstick,
Yeah. Neil Simon wrote it. It's like it's more like Clue. It's more like a parody.
Right, and he was a fan. He was a fan of that. So your one of your works, which I love, is Brick, which is everyone always says a Dashiell Hammett sort of vibe to it, with the sharp dialogue and everything. I mean, this is great stuff that doesn't get exercised a lot.
Yeah, it's fun to go back. I mean, I don't know. These are genres that I grew up just like loving, And so the idea is to get the essential pleasure of what everyone loves about them, but then, hopefully throw some stuff at you that you haven't seen in them before too. So it feels a little, it feels like you are also on a ride and you're not quite sure what's going to happen next.
And the story written by you?
Yeah.
And so this is a completely original?
Yeah, this is an original whodunit, yeah.
Okay, so do you start at the end and work your way back?
I start way zoomed back. I start just thinking about the shape of the whole thing.
Okay.
But I need to have that. I need to have the whole thing. I couldn't start writing at the beginning and find my way through. I need to have the whole shape in my head before I sit down.
I think you would have to. And there's a certain, the people who have done it the best, I think, approach it that way.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to keep tagging things on,
Yeah, and
MacGuffins and all that.
Well, when you get to the end of a good murder mystery, and you have the scene, one of my favorite types of scenes in all of fiction, where the detective lays the whole thing out, like in the library.
Yes,
which we have a really good one of those. It's like, and with that, you have to have laid the groundwork, because it's only satisfying if you feel like, oh yeah, that thing. Oh yeah, if you recognize each of them and it's paying something off.
Did you have someone fact check and make sure that what you did was legitimate?
You know who was the best at that on set? Chris Evans. He would bust my balls, man. He would come up between every take and like, I was just noticed this, and then every time my heart would clench up because I was like, oh no, he caught me, and then I realized, oh no, it's because of this, and I would explain to him.
Right.
I got away with it with him.
That's a sign of a good mystery, because
you got to check out.
Wait a minute, and no, you know what I mean?
Out.
Yeah.
I love it, and the critical response has been sensational. And that's got to make you feel good when you invest time in something you love. Not that it's everything, but it's something.
I'll tell you, the bigger thing is this is like a movie to be seen with an audience, and the audience it's been playing really well. It's been, it gets big laughs, and then people are enjoying it. That to me is what's fun. So I'm psyched to show it tonight.
Allow me to quote The Hollywood Reporter, which says, an ingeniously plotted, tremendously entertaining, and deviously irreverent crowd pleaser.
Well, that's it. Yeah,
that's what you want.
So it is playing tonight at the Philadelphia Film Festival. Do you know if there's any tickets available?
I don't know. I think I just saw a tweet that they had like released a few more, so you might want to check their website and see.
Yeah, it's Philadelphia.org.
Opening for Thanksgiving. If you can't get, and that's those they wheel out what they believe to be the heavy hitters. For that, and so obviously. Relatively speaking, you're a younger filmmaker.
God bless you, sir.
with the body of work, but so obviously we're going to talk about the stuff and the Star Wars universe that you're now in, and now you have your own trilogy that you're responsible for that has been in this. If I'm not correct, tell me. So I can start weeping. But I think you have this potential, this new universe that you can create from the ground up. That's in the same environment but removed.
Yeah. That's what's really exciting moving forward, because they've said with episode 9 that JJ is doing right now, which I'm so excited for. I cannot wait.
It looks phenomenal.
Oh God, that trailer just knocked me out. So that's going to be. They've said over and over, this is going to be the end of kind of this era of the movies.
And I think it's time. Honestly, I love. And I love even the second trilogy, the Lucas trilogy. Certainly, there are issues. Perhaps you've heard some of the buzz about what fans think. I think I commend you for taking on something like that, because you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
I love the fans so much. I am a fan. That's the thing. I grew up as a Star Wars fan, and so all of the passion for it. I was in my 20s when the prequels came out, so both sides of the passion for Star Wars I've been plugged into always, and that's what's great about it.
Kath, we got about a minute or so before we'll hear some music surging up, and then we will go live on Fox Good Day to check in with it's Mike and Alex.
Mike and Alex, yeah.
So a few other things that are happening this morning. We'll have actor Brian Tyree Henry in our studio about an hour from now to talk about the show Dope Thief. The first 2 episodes are out now on Apple TV+. And then Bert Kreischer will be checking in via Zoom. So he is promoting his new Netflix special, which is out now, and it is called Lucky. And he just announced his Permission to Party tour, which he's going to be playing. The closest date we've seen so far is in Hershey. That will be on November 15th. So we'll talk to Bert in the 9 o'clock hour. We got about 10 seconds or so. We'll hear a little bit of music start to surge. And there it is right there. And we'll go live on Fox Good Day.
Okay, I love this. Preston and Steve. So we all know about the astronauts that came back after 9 months. I was shocked when she came out of the capsule, so pregnant.
Yes. It's amazing. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I had...
How would you explain that?
Well, they're up there for 9 months. Yeah. Birds of the bees.
Space sex.
No, there's that story, but there's also these bunch of scientists who are isolated down in Antarctica, and they can't get out till December or January, and one of them has started to go nuts. So we want to know, of your crew there at Preston and Steve, who would be the first to crack?
Kathy would kill us all.
Kathy.
Kathy.
It wouldn't go long.
Yep.
In fact, it would be the flight down to the research center where she would freak out, and she would try to open the door mid-flight.
Well, I kept thinking of those astronauts. I'm like, they were supposed to be there for 8 days. It was 9 months. Like, that's not okay. I wouldn't have lasted.
And okay, who's next then after Kathy?
Next in line.
Of the collective, who do you think would freak out first? I'm pretty good. I'm pretty even keel.
Nick.
No, I think Nick would.
Nick?
Really?
I was thinking Steve, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, Steve doesn't hang out as much as the rest of us. Like when we go on trips and stuff, and that's no judgment. It's just Steve likes kind of chilling on his own. But yeah, I probably, as far as murders go, I would probably murder everybody if Kathy hadn't killed them.
Yeah.
Listen.
You'll get the leftovers.
They test. You're supposed to get tested if you're going to go do something like this remotely, to find out if you could be alone or with a small group of people for a while. It appears this group wasn't tested all that well. I mean, we do spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, I think the last 2 people standing would be me and Preston, most likely.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because you can fight, or?
Well, no,
because I think Preston's really, really good at compartmentalizing and rolling with the situation. Listen, you're the one who talked me out of madness when leaving a parking lot of a really crowded sporting event.
Oh, yeah.
You just kind of like mentally got to go, all right, well, this is where I'm going to be for the next 9 months.
If it's about compartmentalization, I'm pretty good at that. Yeah, I think so. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm trying
actually, that was my guess that Preston would have the last person to survive.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you guys guess with us who might be?
Again, you and Kathy would be opening up the door on the flight.
I think it's you, Alex.
On the way down there. Yeah. And somebody would dig up a chunk of ice a la Captain America years from now and find Mike.
Thaw him out.
Yeah.
Frozen. All right. We'll see you next week.
All right, take care. We'll see you later, guys. Oh my God! But we've listen, we've had small tests. We have the Camp Out for Hunger. That's only a week.
Yeah.
But we do from time to time sequester ourselves and are together for stretches of time.
So, and like when we hang out, you guys don't like I'm from a different time. I'm going to start bringing up the Bronze Age and stuff like that. And you youngsters like to listen to your rock and roll and drink your maltons, and so that's why I don't hang out as much. But I think we could probably do a good one. They've got a lunatic down there with this one guy who's apparently like going nuts and like trying to sexually molest.
Oh,
my
geez.
God.
Yeah.
I just, as long as I have a place to like stretch and like lay down, I think I'm good.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. It's good to learn this attribute. If you can have, I've had small box apartment like I had in media, Preston, when we first started doing the show. I had a Russian-y efficient style apartment. If you can compartmentalize, if you can say, I got this couch, you're good.
Yeah.
Are you claustrophobic?
No.
Yeah, I'm not really claustrophobic as well, so I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I just need to get away from people.
It's the
sometimes.
people. That's the thing.
Not you
That's
guys
what would do
specific-
it.
Anyone, like I just need to.
Yeah.
Like when it's time, like all right, just fade out.
Yeah.
Will you Murph it a lot of times at parties?
No, because Steve, I'm like an Irish Italian family. I have to say goodbye to everyone twice. You know what I mean?
I have learned the art of the Murph.
Yeah.
It is. That's the way I prefer to do it. now.
There are times that people don't even know if I've attended the party or not.
Yeah.
No, there's usually like one or two people you got to say goodbye to. Like if it's at a house party, you definitely have to say quietly goodbye to the host.
Right. Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, I'm leaving. Yeah, sorry. All right. Well, listen, we got to move along because we do have some guests and so on. Let's get to the bizarre file now.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by United Tire and Service. You don't need to be Irish to score your own pot of gold at United Tire. You can buy a set of 4 new tires and choose your treasure, a free oil change, a free alignment, or their best road hazard coverage on the house. Don't drive alone. Drive United. Okay, man, we're talking about eating stuff making you sick. Couldn't believe this video, but I saw it. Video of a man eating a dead rat.
No.
Yes.
Stop it.
Yeah.
While sitting on a New York City sidewalk in broad daylight, went viral on social media on Saturday. In the clip, the man is seen sitting on a Bronx sidewalk.
That's good rap.
He picks up the rodent and begins to eat from its corpse with no apparent care in the world. Like he's taking his time, like picking out pieces of it. It is disturbing. The man ate his meal near 149th Street and 3rd Avenue while onlookers stood in disbelief. A woman near the scene said, I got to get out of the Bronx.
That was the tipping point.
No, another one said, no, what the F? He's a wildling.
my
the
God,
Instagram account, New York S, first responded, first posted the 1 minute, 15-second clip last week and sparked reactions expressing everything from pity to revulsion. It is just disgusting. All right, something lighter than that. A campaigner in Ireland has said that Dublin's Molly Malone statue should be protected to prevent members of the public from violating it by groping the sculpture's breasts.
How hot is this statue?
Dude, the boobs are prominent. I looked at it.
She's got full-blown cleavage.
Yes. So Tilly Cripwell pointed out that the bronze artwork has been groped so many times over the years that its breasts have become discolored. The 23-year-old student said that she has witnessed disgusting behavior at the statue many times while busking beside it in recent years.
What about our huge freaking hooters, huh?
Dublin City Council has said it is considering the campaigners' call to repair the discolored statue and raise it on a higher plinth which, by the way, I love that word, plinth. The council also confirmed that it is in the process of asking tourist companies to deter the customers from touching the statue.
To be honest, even way back when this thing was being put together, I could have foreseen this as being an issue. This is a wildly buxom statue.
Ms. Cripwell said the groping of the sculpture's breast by passersby and some tourists sets a really bad example to younger generations. The Molly Malone statue was erected 37 years ago in tribute to a legendary Dublin woman who sold shellfish in the streets of the Irish capital. It's not clear if the character is based on a real or fictional person. But the figure of Molly Malone has become to represent part of Dublin's working class community. She was also the subject of a traditional folk song, which tells the story of the fishmonger's daughter who sold cockles and mussels from a wheelbarrow.
Lady-I-O.
And according to the colorful lyrics, Molly died of a fever, but then returned as a ghost, still wheeling her wheelbarrow through the city streets. Many public artworks in Dublin are popularly referred to by rhyming nicknames, and for years, the Molly Malone statue was known as the Tart with the Cart. And this name was in part due to suggesting that Molly Malone worked as a fishmonger by day and as a sex worker by night.
Look at the jugs on that statue.
The statue was first erected in Dublin's Grafton Street in 1988.
I mean, they could have they gave her a low-cut top. So that's even part of the issue. If they pull that up a bit, I'd maybe be less of an issue.
But they're thinking about putting it up on a plinth, too, so people can't get up there.
You just wanted to say plinth again.
Plinth again. I hope Jackie Bam Bam heard that. So in Connecticut, a West Hartford man was arrested for an incident at a home on March 14th. Police said they received a report of an Uber driver who had asked a customer if he could use their bathroom. And after a few minutes, the driver opened the door himself and was seen spanking it.
Wow.
Officials have identified the Uber driver as 33-year-old Ramesh Chand, and police contacted him, and he turned himself in. He's
give me a good rating.
To appear at court on April 2nd. Toy maker Mattel has Barbieified a creature from Philippine folklore that has for centuries inspired terror and loathing among Filipinos for its habit of feeding on the hearts of unborn children.
This is their new Barbie?
Yeah, no, no, it's not a Barbie. It's actually a Monster High doll.
I got it.
But the character is called the Manamanangal. Manamanangal. So in the reimagining of the Manamanangal, Manananangal. That's it. She is a winsome teenager dressed in the traditional Filipino attire of a baro or a blouse and a long skirt that tapers to thin red fringes that are supposed to emulate dripping blood. She holds a fan in her right hand and a bag with a spider web motif in her left. She stands high on a pair of bakaya or wooden clogs, and the obvious signs that she is an otherworldly creature are her large bat-like wings. Yet she has an even more bizarre secret. She can split her body in half from the waist, allowing her upper half to fly away while the rest of her waits on the ground, just like the Mananangal is capable of. So it's got a bit of a dark past too. More macabre backstory. The creature's name is derived from the Filipino word that means something that detaches. The Mananangal, a derivative of the. It goes into all this other stuff. But anyhow, she is a beautiful woman during the day. She walks among the living to scout her prey. Later in the latter stages of her pregnancy, as night falls, she spouts bat-like wings and severs her upper torso from the body so she can fly towards the victim's house. While perched on the roof, she uncoils her long, spindly tongue that pierces through the pregnant woman's abdomen and into the heart of the unborn child inside her.
So a horror movie where they had a creature that was very similar to this. I bet you they predicated that creature on this.
She then drains the fetus of its blood, and this way she is able to remain young and virile. So
yes.
There's a new doll that you can get that is just like
delightful.
That. All right, one last story, and then we will wrap it up. Let's end with this one. Upset that the karaoke machine at a Florida bar was not working, a man pointed a pistol at another patron and fired off a round, according to police who arrested the suspect, a convicted felon, by the way, who's barred from possessing a firearm. Police allege that Aaron Jablonski was at the Overtime Sports Bar around 2:30 a.m. Saturday when there was no karaoke available, and he exited the bar upset about the music. Outside, this is in Clearwater, by the way.
I want to sing.
A 26-year-old man tried to get Jablonski to calm down and denied the karaoke. He was not in the calming down mood. He then allegedly pulled a handgun from his waistband and pointed it at the victim, saying, "I don't effing care." And he was seen by witnesses brandishing the firearm and popping off a round. The victim, whose Facebook page has several photos of him performing karaoke, told police he was in fear that Jablonski would kill him. When officers arrived at the bar, he was still in possession of a Glock 9mm pistol, which investigators say was illegal since he was previously convicted of battery on a law enforcement officer. A judge has ordered Jablonski to have no contact with the victim and stay away from the Overtime bar.
Some people are really into karaoke, man.
You want to sing, want to sing, man. So, yeah.
You better be packing heat.
Wasn't having it. All right, and that is what I have in the bizarre file for you. We will take a break. We'll come back in a moment. Later on this morning, actor Brian Tyree Henry from Dope Thief in the studio, and Bert Kreischer joining us as well. We'll be right back.
For agreeing to do it, like because you're such a fan, you're like, did you ever? Was there ever a thought of like, no, I can't do this?
No, I don't. I mean, it's just something that's so deep. I know everyone is a Star Wars fan who like when those first movies came out. If you're like my age, like you saw them when you were like 5 and 6. It's so deep in your bones. It's something you love so dearly, and also the people who make these movies, and the producers and everything, and the talent. They're just the best people on the planet, and everyone is just working from such a pure place of love for what this thing is, And so, no, man, I couldn't, that
you had to. You had to let that purity guide. At least you could have control over it.
The only thing you can do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just follow kind of what you want to do.
So I want to ask you about ownership of movies, because people take the Star Wars universe very seriously, and I'm a Star Wars nerd through and through. But people also confuse opinions and facts all the time, and it bothers me because if you have an opinion on a movie, that's not necessarily a fact about that movie, but people state them as if they are.
Yeah.
And I loved Last Jedi. There were so many layers to it that I think people are misunderstood, or they walked out of the theater with an opinion, and it's fine for them to have their opinion too. But what's your take on blowback or criticism or whatever? Does it bother you? Does it stick with you, or how do you interpret it?
Well, like I said, I got to come at it from, again, the perspective of being a Star Wars fan my whole life, and realizing that the passion for it, there are two sides to that. The passion's going to land one way for some, and if you don't like something, that passion's going to apply back the other way, and there's no use. There's no, you can't have one without the other, I guess. People feel strongly about this stuff because they care about it so deeply, and people are going to respond to different things. Every fan is looking for something slightly different from a Star Wars movie. There's nothing that's going to.
And that's the general. I was in the theater on opening night for the original Star Wars because I'm an old bastard, and I'd read the paperback book that was that before the movie came out. That had scenes that were not even shot for the movie. It's from Lucas's screenplay, and the movie was always intended to be a fun homage to the movie serials.
Yeah, it's Buck Rogers.
And that's it.
Yeah, man.
And it was supposed to be loving and fun.
Yeah.
But then as its own myth almost started to weigh it down, and people lost sight of just go have a good time.
Well, also, but the thing is that I feel like there is always an element, because it was that, but then, with Empire, it dug a little bit deeper into the mythic stuff.
And that's one of the,
That was a fish hook that got us all. Empire really shook it up from A New Hope in every single way. I mean, not just the big I am your father twist, but tonally, and also in terms of how deep it went, in terms of digging into that kind of deeper mythological stuff, the psychological stuff. So
and a classic second act.
Yeah. Oh my God,
it doesn't
100%.
end happy,
and really turns everything up onto its head, and then in a way that can be really satisfyingly resolved in the third one. You see where I'm going with this?
Yes. Well, you did some things in this movie that that we hadn't seen in any of the previous 7 movies, I should say. And one of them was using light speed as a weapon.
Yeah. Well, although the first, I mean, in A New Hope, the first time they talk about light speed, what's the context they're talking about? And they're talking about you got to do your calculations right, or you'll run into something, and then it'll be a big mess.
But the blowback on that, and the fans were like,
but I never quite understood that, because the thing is, that was the context that it was introduced in. So it's not like it physically can't happen. So the only argument I've really heard is we don't want to think about the fact that it can happen because that complicates how we have to think about war in this world.
You would have to make calculations, and you had like shields and things exactly for that. But I mean, it's your toy. You run with it. You know? It's like because no. So the 8-foot talking carpet, that's real. Relax.
I mean, it has to make sense within the context of the world.
And
but I feel like that I can stand behind.
No, it was a mother effer of a scene.
Yeah, that scene. Come on.
The effects and all. It was great.
Speaking of fans, real quick, and I know you guys all have questions. Everybody's got their hands raised here. But now, I haven't gone back and watched The Last Jedi in a little while. But is that I think fans had a bunch of fun with the fight scene where Kylo and Rey, you know what I'm talking about? They used the different pieces of music. Did you happen to see those?
Yeah, that was really fun. Everyone started remixing it to different songs.
Oh, our own Nick Murphy, who I introduced you to, he did a whole...
he did like a dozen of them.
He did a whole album. Some funny ones and some other ones that tonally absolutely made sense.
I love it.
I think he might have even used Firework from Katy Perry.
That's great. That's great.
I totally see that. Yeah, that's a blast, man.
You gotta love that fans are having
Well, that's what I mean. They take it and they make it their own, whether it's that or fan fiction or fan art or people just take this stuff so personally. That's what's great about it.
In A New Hope, Luke meets Leia via a hologram, and in The Last Jedi, Luke says goodbye to Leia via a hologram. Was that your idea?
Yeah, man. The symmetry. You're always looking for symmetry. Wow. If you can hit that sweet spot with symmetry, so that even if you don't, the first time you watch a movie, you aren't thinking of it in those terms. When you step back and take a look at the whole thing laid out, you're like, oh, this rhymes with this, and it bookends this. Especially with something like Star Wars, you're always searching for those things to lay in there.
Thank you for answering questions about it, because I know you're here to talk about Knives Out, and I can't wait to see that movie as well. But while we have a director of one of the Star Wars movies in the studio,
about Star Wars.
We lavish love on Knives Out as well. But I also have to ask you, Looper is an amazing film, and it also speaks to your ability to add. I remember watching that and go, wow, this is a really cool conceit. I'm thinking of it has a Harlan Ellison, Philip K. Dick sort of vibe to it. It's cool. It's jumping around. And then it gets you emotionally too, and when you're and that's something that I think when you can do that in all this stuff where you can go down one path and phone it in, and then it becomes something where it gets you viscerally with the kid and what his future will be and how things have to be right. That to me was just such an amazing. And I don't want to give it away if you've never seen it. You need to see Looper if you've never seen it. But working with Bruce Willis and working with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who you worked with in Brick as well, you start to build an ensemble of people you go to, there are people that are comfortable. Who do you consider your go-to, people now?
Well, I haven't worked with him for a few movies, but Joe Gordon-Levitt is one of my good friends.
Awesome,
and he's so good, man. Yeah. He's such a good person. He's such a lovely, wonderful guy. And I managed this Last Jedi. He wasn't. We got him in there as a voice, alien voice.
Okay, I was
Knives
wondering.
Out. We had to get him in there as a voice too.
Oh, that's
because he
great.
wasn't available. So you keep your ears peeled. He's in there. So
You guys are friends.
Yeah, we're buddies.
Okay, because he's in a scene of a movie. It's one of my favorite theatrical scenes ever, and it's a movie called 500 Days of Summer.
Oh yeah,
and it's when the Hall & Oates song comes on. To me, and there's a Han Solo thing in it as well. But I would love to meet that guy. He is a good friend of yours.
He's a sweetheart, man. He is so cool.
Will you tell him that I love him?
Let's call him right now. Let's get him on speaker.
Whenever I hear that song, I bounce around like he does when he's walking down the street. Like I want to do what he did in that movie.
We made the very first movie I made was called Brick. It was like a weird high school noir, and he was in it
twice today. I haven't seen it.
Oh well.
Did you shoot that at the high school you went to?
I did. Yeah. I shot at San Clemente High School down in Orange County.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's got to be cool to come back with a film crew to the school that you.
It was cool, but we were really low budget. We were like micro budget with that movie.
Still.
So I think we were more annoying to them. I'm surprised that they didn't kick us out before we were done filming.
Well, Knives Out, honestly, is I cannot wait to see it. It looks phenomenal, and so I assume, have you done the full premiere route yet, or is it where this is one cog in the premiere?
Well, Philly is not a cog.
I know.
This is the main engine of the whole tour.
Thank you for saying that.
We premiered at Toronto, and I just came from the Chicago Film Festival, and we're here tonight, and I'm psyched to see it with every. Like I said, man, this is a crowd movie. This is a crowd-pleasing movie. It's so much fun to be in the theater when a big crowd is watching this.
Love
I'm
it.
psyched
Love
for
it.
Can I ask what the title refers to, or is it a plot point that we need to wait for?
No, it's. I mean, sort of. There are knives in it, but it's. I mean, the Radiohead song is what I kind of stuck it in my head years ago. You know, Amnesiac, I think it's on, and Knives Out. Okay. And so that phrase just always seemed like a cool turn of phrase to me. It seemed like a good murder mystery.
It always indicates.
And the knives are out.
Your knives are out. Your knives are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody's got it. Yeah.
Which definitely applies to the family in this movie.
Awesome.
Can I jump in real quick? I just want to ask you, because I know that you do have your fingerprint on the Breaking Bad universe, and you directed a couple of episodes of the final season.
Yeah.
I watched El Camino, and then I was like, oh, God, I got to go back and watch the final 2 seasons. So I did that, and then I watched El Camino again. So you directed Ozymandias, and I got to ask, is that the episode where Walt calls Skyler and has the phone conversation with her?
Yeah.
That is like some of the finest acting I've ever witnessed in my entire life, because he is saying things to her
without saying them.
But he's also on like, so what you're hearing through the phone is what he's saying, but emotionally he's not saying those words. And like, so can you explain that better than what I just said?
No, you put it just beautifully, man.
Okay.
And Cranston, I mean, that's the explanation. It's one word. It's Cranston. That dude is just
Cranston.
So you didn't have anything to do with that?
No, man. No, honestly, you show up and you do your work as a director, which is on set to be an audience for the actor, and so you watch it. If you feel something, you say it to them. If you feel, try this, try that. The truth is, though, especially with Breaking Bad, I mean, the writing is so good. Those actors. As a director, it makes your job so easy. You can just show up on set and just like roll with it and try and maximize it.
Real quick, how many takes for that particular scene?
I don't know. I think it was freezing that night, so I don't think many. I think it was maybe 3 or 4. And then Anna Gunn, Skyler's side of the call. It's interesting because I remember with Yoda, with Mark and Frank Oz, Mark Hamill and Frank Oz.
Yeah.
Frank telling me, everyone talks about the expressiveness of the puppet and the performance of Yoda, and he said 90% of it is Mark believing, listening.
Yeah, and I can believe that. Yeah,
and it's a weird analogy, but what Anna is doing on the
All right, thank you very much, Kath. A reminder: our word of the week prize this week is a road trip for 2 to Washington D.C. with PhillySportsTrips.com. The Phils are playing the Nationals for opening day on Thursday, March 27th. So we'll give that away on Friday. You'll need the letter of the day first, though. So we got a little time to chat about some things. Why not expand our minds? Just Sayin Institute.
Oh, yes.
Time to go, and we'll stroll the campus and pass along some studies to you.
The Just Sayin Institute, home of the Preston Elliott Better Flying Through Properly Timed Gummies research.
Yeah. We need more research on that for sure. So in Phoenix, Arizona, heat is notorious for the harm it causes in the short term, like, heat stroke and heart problems and things like that. But just last year, temperatures there topped 90 degrees Fahrenheit for a record-breaking 188 days. Yeah. More than 140 of those days were over 100 degrees. So the reason I bring that up is there is a new study published in Science Advances, and it shows that prolonged heat exposure of that magnitude can even modify how people's genes behave, speeding up aging at the molecular level and potentially impacting people's long-term health.
So pronounced heat over the course of a long span of time will pre-age you.
Yeah, kind of like that.
The hottest, I think it was the hottest day that I ever spent. It was Prescott, Arizona, 121 degrees.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I mean, when I was in the Grand Canyon, it was definitely in the close to 110 range, something along those lines. It was pretty bad. I know 2 different people who moved to Phoenix. I think one guy lasted a week, and then my friend from college, her car broke down, so she had to walk to work.
Yeah.
She didn't last much longer after that.
Yep. Dude, next Tuesday, it's going to be 98 in Phoenix.
Oh my God! I thought you were saying here. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, 98 degrees in Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the 80s now in Phoenix, but I just looked up the weather forecast for next week. I mean, it's already that bad, and that oppressive heat for that long, year round. No effing way would I do that.
You have to. No. You're living indoors. It's the same way with a lot of the Texas summers. You can kind of just you live inside. That's all you do.
They live differently. So my uncle lives there, and he will often send us screenshots of the temperature and stuff like that. And so he gets up at no joke, 4 o'clock in the morning. He does his workout from 4 to 6, and then they get some stuff done in the morning. He said by 9 o'clock, they're back inside. You're inside all day, and then you can go out again in the evening. And that's pretty much their day.
Wow.
That's too much, man.
So the impact is similar to the effect of smoking and drinking. This is according to In-Young Choi, a gerontologist at the University of Southern California.
So you're saying if you're thinking about planning a trip to Arizona, just smoke and drink here.
Stay here, get drunk and smoke.
And same
thing. Effect.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we just got back from Clearwater, which a lot of people will snowbird. My cousin is currently a snowbird down there, and he does the winters there, and then the summers up in Wildwood. And I always said that I would snowbird in Arizona. And so I think... I would hightail that out of there by Memorial Day, where the temperatures get way too oppressive.
Or next Tuesday.
Right. Or next Tuesday.
It's going to be 98.
That's a dry heat, though.
Right.
Yeah, I think someday I might do the snowbird route if I
you think
make our
so?
plans properly. I think it'd be the way to go.
Would you do it in the desert?
No, I think I'd head more towards, like Casey was saying,
Arizona,
and so on. I'm not a big fan of Florida. So.
I got you.
So the study looked at people over 56 living across the country with very different heat experiences. People from extremely hot parts of the country, like Phoenix, topped where the heat index combination of temperature and humidity topped 90 degrees for more than half of the year. Looked biologically about 14 months older epigenically than similar people living in cooler places like Seattle, where fewer than 10 days of each year exceed that threshold.
I thought you were 14 months older. It's a weird number to arrive at. I wonder how the pronounced cold over a long amount of time affects the body.
It's a good question.
Does it make you appear younger?
Research
sure it does.
Research links premature aging with an earlier onset of health issues like dementia, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. The sooner those symptoms begin, the more of a toll they take on people's well-being and productivity. And genetic aging can accelerate. It can accelerate because people don't eat well or don't get enough exercise too. But it is also associated with emotional or physical stress, as well as exposure to environmental harms like air pollution and, or in this case, heat.
Think about the pre-aging process of always having to deal with swamp ass, right?
Yep.
That will age you.
It's bad enough as it is. So I thought that was interesting. I did not know that heat did that kind of damage if it's prolonged exposure.
Yeah. What's crazy, though, is when I was going through the Grand Canyon the last time, I actually wore pants and a windbreaker pretty much the whole time.
Did you feel 14 months older?
I didn't. No. But heat-wise, you would think that I'd be stifling.
Right.
But you would get splashed by the water, which is in the 50 degrees, and that would cool you off a little bit. But that windbreaker and those pants, they were river pants essentially. But
river pants.
It protected me from
Springsteen many times called river pants.
It protected me from the sun. I also made the mistake because when we stopped at Walmart, our last stop before we hit the river, I got some sunblock, and I had never seen SPF 100 before.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to protect myself from the sun.
Still, yeah.
Dude, it was like putting caulk on. It was that thick.
I've worn it, yeah.
Well, by the way, the way you said river pants, it sounds like Rosebud and Citizen Kane. River pants.
Well, when
he was rich man on earth. What did he mean when he said river pants?
When I said river pants, I just thought of river dance, and that made me giggle a little bit.
Okay.
I giggled at thick caulk.
Thick caulk. He had a really big, thick caulk. Okay. We're setting that one aside, and we're going to talk about something a little more mental. So, family therapist Jeff Watson has identified common psychological challenges that individuals face at different stages in their lives, and then offers strategies to address them. So essentially, he's come up with the basic issues, life stages that we have.
Challenges that you're going to encounter as you're moving along in a common life progression.
So when
does the eating rat in public period take place?
Dear God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of interesting. And I as I was going through these, I'm like, yep. So you kind of check them off the list. So I'll give you an example. Teenage years.
Yeah.
Here are some of the challenges. Developing a strong sense of self is crucial. And he recommends that engaging in hobbies and interests can help build identity and confidence. Then in your 20s, finding direction in life often poses challenges. A lot of times you have no idea what you want to do in your 20s.
What's going to happen? When am I going to get my first pair of river pants?
Yeah. So reconnecting with childhood passions and addressing unresolved traumas can provide clarity in your 20s, by the way.
This seems pretty standard, yeah.
All right. In your 30s, commitment in relationships becomes a focal point.
Right. Was that when in your 30s? Is that when you felt you got more serious about relationships?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Is that when you weren't as turned on by the smell of burning rubber?
So I got married at 30. So leading up to that, I was, like anybody would, curious about commitment for the.
Sure.
I had met Rochelle and I knew she's the one, but also, taking that marriage step was like,
am I ready?
Yeah. Am I 100% sure that this is going to be it? So by the time I got to my 30s, I had worked out that commitment, but I see it, as being the most important thing at the time. And now they recommend creating pros and cons lists. And trusting one's instincts can aid in making informed decisions.
I'm speaking at 2 career days, believe it or not, in the next couple of weeks. And the first is at my high school, which is Conestoga High School out in Berwyn. And this is the type of stuff, Preston, that I like try to impart because I had no idea anything when I was 18. I had some thoughts about school and whatever, but like as far as career paths go and possibilities in your 20s, there was so much that was completely foreign to me. And I honestly thought like the career path was like the game of life. You could either be a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher, and I had no idea that even so many different career paths even existed.
It's a pretty good representation of this type of thing is Casey, and you saw the movie not that long ago in City Slickers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where Billy Crystal is at his son's career day.
Yes.
And he's laying it out on what life is like. And he's like, your 20s are a blur, and he just goes bit by bit these chapters because he's having an existential, crisis.
Like a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
It's sadly accurate.
And totally. It's like, in your 40s, you're going to have a surgery. You call it a procedure, but it's a surgery. So, all right, by the way, going back to this, so in your 40s, feelings of stagnation may arise. That's a point in time in your life where you might be stuck in a spot and you're not sure if you're ever going to get out of it.
I've had these same river pants for 15 years.
But exploring new passions and setting fresh goals can reignite a sense of purpose. In your 50s and early 60s, it says reflecting on life's purpose is common. And they recommend engaging in activities that offer a sense of control can enhance your autonomy.
Yeah, so that's my point in life, and I'm putting on my first puppet show.
Oh, congratulations.
That's my calling.
Marionettes or like sock puppets?
Okay. No, I'm not a pussy.
Yeah. Okay. And then finally, 65 and beyond, it says concerns about past mistakes may surface.
This all seems logical. Yes, I see it all.
Makes sense.
I'll tell you this. A lot of times I found in my life that the years you were supposed to dread, I ended up loving the most. And if you play it right, and if you can drink things in the proper way and process, not unless your life is a conga line of disasters and pain, it does get progressively better and you're more equipped.
Yeah, but what sucks for
you
me
gain wisdom
is this 65 and older concerns about past mistakes. That's all I've been focusing on for the past 50 years.
Do you know
so
what
you
it-
mean it gets worse?
No. Actually, what happens is you're better able to handle it because there's sort of an intoxicating effect to the smell of blue emu, which, though they say you don't stink.
It's saying that it's common to have concerns about your past mistakes at that age.
Should I have killed that hooker?
But they recommend practicing self-reflection and self-love because that is essential to avoid despair.
Are we talking in the real, tangible, physical way of self-love?
Oh, self-love? No, I don't think
Okay.
it's that.
What are you doing?
I mean,
in there,
hopefully by 65 you've
what
got
are you
that
doing in there,
covered.
Grandpa? I'm reading the TV guide. We don't get the TV guide in. I'm playing with it. Leave me alone.
I'm playing.
I'm picking up a hobby. It's called my nutsack. I've heard that, not to go off on a tangent, that the level of promiscuity and sex going on in like really older retirement homes where the median age is like late 70s, 80s is insane these days.
Yeah, I mean you have ED drugs.
Yeah.
And they can do that now for sure.
And time to kill.
Yeah, and all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Man, there is a great clip, Steve, and this is way back when. It was right before he died. It was Ernest Borgnine.
Oh my God, I love it.
Was doing an interview. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, what he does the best, or why he's young at heart.
I'll say it. He goes, he's doing an interview. He's like on Good Morning America.
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like they asked him the secret to long life. He turns in, he goes, I masturbate a lot.
Oh my God.
I kid you not.
Ernest Borgnine.
Ernest Borgnine.
He's probably
It is hilarious.
killed more boners in his life than anyone, but he has this wry, kind of fun, mischievous look on his face.
Yeah.
Hey, more power to him.
Rock on,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. All right. So keep that in mind, those stages in life and some suggestions for you to move along. All right. This one I've never seen before from the Just Saying Institute. Apparently, if you're feeling down, an orange a day might help. There's a new study analyzing over 30,000 women and found that eating one medium orange daily could lower depression risk by 20%.
Could, potentially. All right, so Kathy, you eat about 40 pounds of produce a day.
Wait, does that include mimosas?
Freshly squeezed mimosas?
Yeah.
Freshly squeezed mimosas. Now, researchers linked citrus consumption to increased levels of beneficial gut bacterium that may support serotonin and dopamine production.
Yes.
You believe this?
So I just read the same thing not that long ago about the citrus, and so I've been trying to. I mean, I do normally. I'll have that if they're in season. I'll have an orange, but yeah, I've tried to add it in.
Don't you have like fruit salad every day?
Not every day, but most days I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
While more research is needed, adding citrus to your diet could be an easy, natural way to support mental well-being. And there's no downside to that. But it's funny how the gut bacterium is linked to happiness and creating the the hormones in your body that give that sense of up and good.
One of the most, besides our own wonderful Dr. Mike Sirigliano, one of the most respected doctors and research doctors in the world specializes in gut health. And you're going to hear that come up a lot more because that's basically where everything's emanating from. So, you know.
Yep. All right, here is another study, and it's about using expired medication.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, I will sometimes if I leave something, a medication that's not a daily medication, that's upon the circumstance. And I don't always go through and look when the meds are bad. And I'll take something that's outdated just to, if it's all I have around.
Birth control. I'll take that.
No, but it could be anything like, Dayquil or, any of those things.
Oh, no. I thought you were talking about prescribed
prescription drugs.
Yeah, it could be any of them.
No, I will not. If it's expired, I throw it out. So a friend of mine took expired antibiotic and ended up in the hospital.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So here's why you shouldn't take expired medications, and my eyes have been open to this. So there's a whole bunch of things that can happen. So this is from Professor Rainier Kotze, who is Pharmaceutical Society of South Africa. So she explains the risk posed by using expired medication and how to safely dispose of it. Why it's dangerous. Expiration dates for medicines are determined through stability testing, which involves assessing how long the drug remains safe and effective under various storage conditions. Manufacturers typically provide conservative estimates of expiration dates to ensure that a medicine's quality is, still good and it's safe.
Yeah, so they don't push the boundaries.
They degrade over time and may not work as intended once they reach and pass their expiry date. And this is of particular concern with antibiotics, Kathy.
Look at Kathy.
Subtherapeutic doses, those which are too low to work properly and so do not fully treat the illness or infection, can contribute to antimicrobial resistance. And this makes infections harder to treat, which in turn increases the risk of disease spread, severe illness, and death. Reduced potency in chronic diseases medications like insulin or heart medication is also a worry since this can have serious health consequences. And some expired medications can break down into harmful compounds. One example being ciprofloxacin. This antibiotic is used mostly to treat infections in the urinary and upper and lower respiratory tracts. And studies have shown that it can degrade into toxic byproducts that might harm the kidneys and be hazardous to the environment if not properly disposed of.
I didn't know that.
So things like exposure to heat, humidity, and light can accelerate the breakdown of active ingredients. That's why we find out sometimes those bottles are a certain color, like
Colored
brown.
that way, yeah.
So this applies to both scheduled medicines prescribed by a doctor and over-the-counter drugs.
All right, so my Advil here, my CVS brand ibuprofen, expired back in February of 2024.
And I've been taking it too.
Yeah. But I mean,
I think you're fine.
I have it stored in this thing over here. It's temperature controlled. It's in the darkness.
Mix it with some old antibiotics. I think you'll be fine.
Z-Pack or something.
So it's not just tablets and capsules that expire. Liquid medications like cough syrup and eye drops are particularly vulnerable to contamination once expired, as the preservatives that they contain lose their potency. And this increases the risk of bacterial growth, which could lead to infections.
So I use re-wetting drops, they're called, just because I have contacts. Sometimes they dry out, and I keep it in my purse so the label's kind of worn off, and they come in packs of 2. And I had the second one in my medicine cabinet at home, and I just pulled it out right before we went on our trip because I was going to bring it with me, and I looked, and it was expired. And so the one that I've been using in my purse is expired, so I just threw them out and bought new ones.
Oh, boy.
Yes, my anus is distended. I think the drops had expired.
Have you ever, Kathy, have you ever found something in the medicine cabinet? I think of Pepto-Bismol that I didn't even realize was in there. That cap was so rock hard tight on that. It had aged. The Pepto-Bismol was like a pink rock. It's like, how did it get that old in there?
Well, I know you guys will be shocked about this, but I actually go through my medicine cabinet once a year because the DEA does the drug take back. Now it's supposed to be more for like opioids and things like that, but you can drop off the other stuff that you're not supposed to, just throw in the trash. So I'll go through when they do that.
So I will always, my narcotics are fresh because I'm always going through them and using them. But a lot of this stuff, Preston, like the thyroid meds or whatever we're taking, you cycle through them and you're getting,
we're taking them every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
So it's not those kind of, hey, do we still have that kind of thing?
So throwing expired or surplus medications into the trash or flushing them down the toilet is strongly discouraged. For starters, it's bad for the environment. Medications discarded in household trash can leach active pharmaceutical ingredients into soil and groundwater, potentially contaminating sources of drinking water. That's why sometimes they'll test the drinking water and they'll say, hey, we're finding traces of, opioids in here.
A lot of times with what you find in your medicine cabinet, you can make a nice bunch of scissor.
You can make a little cocktail.
Yeah, make a little cocktail.
So if they end up in the sewage systems, that allows poorly treated effluents, chemical compounds, and pharmaceutical pollution to enter the aquatic ecosystems. The safest methods of disposal are through drug take-back programs, like Kathy was saying, or authorized collection sites. And I think the pharmacies that you go to, you can take.
They'll take them back?
I think so. I've seen one for sure where they would take medication.
Could you just take a baggie and drop it inside of Kohl's or something?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, you can. I don't know what'll happen to it. But.
Also, if you have medication that is not expired but it's not being used anymore, you can recycle that too, or donate it to programs where people can use it. I talked about this a while back, but a family friend who had passed away had all of these medications that were still valid, and so you can take those in and make them, recycle them essentially for people who could use them.
Okay. All right, so let's see. We have time for another one for sure, I've been told. So let me see. We talk about sleep a lot.
That's an essential part of life.
It is.
But that's your new character, the somnambulist.
No, I'm going to find another story. Oh, man. Yeah, okay. This I almost put in the bizarre file.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So a 15-year-old girl, this is a terrible story, Lesotho, from Lesotho, Africa, shocked doctors when she became pregnant despite being born without a vaginal opening. It's a rare condition called distal vaginal atresia.
So there's literally no opening whatsoever.
Correct.
So I assume the the urine, that's
exposed.
equipment is exposed.
Correct. So no one was expecting her to get pregnant. She has this condition, but she didn't realize she was expecting until her belly grew, and doctors later delivered a healthy baby boy via C-section.
How?
Listen to this. I don't know how this is possible.
I've had no posture.
Doctors think she became pregnant when her ex stabbed her in the abdomen shortly after engaging in oral sex with someone else.
Wait, what?
They believe that sperm may have entered the reproductive system through her stab wounds, leading to conception in an extremely rare medical event. This case actually happened in 1988, but it just came up last week when a Scottish woman thought she had a burst appendix, but she was pregnant instead, and I guess somehow or another they dug up this story. But that's
so pregnant through a stab wound, and you have no. So I assume a cesarean. Did the baby come to full term?
They delivered the baby via C-section.
That's astonishing.
You're saying there is no canal whatsoever.
That's what it says here.
Huh.
A rare
Not even
condition.
a gondola.
It's called distal vaginal atresia.
Wow.
And it says, no vaginal opening. I've never heard of that. I didn't know that was even possible.
But I was wondering if the canal exists, but the opening is closed, The
moose should have told you.
Moose out front should have told you.
Sorry, guys. Vagina's closed.
Vagina's closed.
Vagina's closed.
Moose should have told you. It just it boggles the mind.
Yeah.
It boggles the mind.
Yeah, so I almost put that in the, I said, the bizarre file.
I don't know how much information was included. Was the child born healthy?
Yeah, yep. It was born healthy baby boy.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty bizarre.
That's
All
a mind. Yeah, that would have been that works both ways.
All right, we'll go into something lighter than that, and I'll go back to the sleep thing.
I mean, plug vagina is pretty amazing.
I know it's but it's more bizarre file. All right, so a sleep expert has issued a serious warning about sleeping with 2 pillows at night and why you need to stop doing it.
Stop this stuff.
No, you need 2 pillows. One for your head and a huggy pillow.
Well, sometimes what they do is, and they vacillate on this, how many pillows on and how many pillows off stuff, and they send people into panics because they think they're going to get scoliosis or the vagina's going to seal up or whatever.
What's really?
So let me ask you. If they warn against it, so you're going to stop with multiple pillows? No. So shut up.
Well, it doesn't really affect me. I'll explain. I use 4 pillows minimum, 6 pillows preferably.
What about in a hotel?
Full-size pillows?
Dude, by the way, good pillows
Yes.
in our hotel.
That's why I brought it up.
Loved them.
I
had 6 pillows. I had 4 that came on the bed, and I grabbed 2 from the other bed.
You did?
I used them all from the other bed. I had a pillow fort.
Yeah.
It was
2
awesome.
beds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 2 beds. You only have 1 bed?
Yeah, we had a king bed.
I had 2 queens.
I think if you have a king bed and you're traveling with your wife and she takes 2 of your pillows, you should they should just give you 2 extras all the time.
Yeah.
Usually there's pillows in the closet.
Exactly.
I don't trust those pillows because I feel like they've probably been there for too long.
Yo, I totally don't trust them. The one from the
don't use
They're
those.
cleaner than the ones on the.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Those are the ones we piss on.
I don't think they're cleaner.
the one that was in the closet. I took it out and it ended up on the floor, right? Fell on the floor. So I was like, all right, I'm going to leave it on the floor so they know.
Yeah.
And no, it was put back on the bed. And I know that it was the same pillowcase because of the way it was folded. Part of it was like coming out. And so they put the pillow that was on the floor on the bed. I'm not okay with that.
I'm with you, Kat.
Okay.
God almighty. God, you guys have issues.
What, guys?
All right.
I mean, you know, I'm pretty pedantic about that stuff, but I'm not that crazy.
So the information was shared in a new TikTok video by someone named Sammy Joe, who's a doctor of physical therapy. And in the clip, she warns viewers to resist the urge to sleep with two pillows in bed, meaning that it can worsen what's called the dowager hump.
What's that?
Like an old dowager.
Which can occur on your upper back.
Oh, like the
Like,
yes.
oh, yeah, I'm a dowager.
Wait, why does it induce that?
So the issue is often caused by bad posture, according to the Cleveland Clinic, but also can be the result of conditions like osteoporosis or degenerative change in the spine.
And is that because of the way the neck is tilted while sleeping?
Yeah,
like, are they talking about stacking two pillows on top of each other?
Stacking two pillows on top of each other. That's what it means.
May I suggest then? So here's what I would do. I sleep with my bed raised a la a hospital bed. I friggin' love it. I always used to be a stomach sleeper, and now I sleep this way, and I love it. If you use the two pillows, Kathy, use a third pillow to make it more of a wedge pillow, like more of a ramp, so that you're not sunk in with your head
I got you
bent
with,
forward.
with
Yeah.
like the head tilted. Is that how you use your pillows, Preston? Like do
No,
you stack
so
them?
Or do you pretend they're lovers?
No, I stack them, but I have two very thin pillows. Remember, I like a super thin pillow, like
One
a friend.
between your legs?
Okay, let me run down. All right,
Give
two
us the
pillows
pillow
up
rundown.
here by my head. I have one between my legs. I have one that I hug, and then I have two other floaters for when I roll over. Yeah,
I like that.
So there you go.
Do you have a pillow to put your remotes on?
No.
Oh.
I had a second pillow for a long time. I still do, but when I had shoulder issues, they told me to prop it up when I slept. Like I bought like a pillow I didn't have surgery, but a lot of people who have shoulder surgery buy these pillows. So I purchased it and then I didn't need it anymore, but I still use like a second pillow to lay my hand on to kind of like prop the shoulder up so it's not hanging. I don't have shoulder issues anymore, but I still do it.
What's that pillow they sell? It was all the rage for a while. They had commercials for it. There was specifically to go between a woman's breasts if you were more buxom. And
so they didn't hang.
Right, and it didn't pull on your back.
Yeah.
Do you remember that thing?
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should get that.
All right, so in this video, the doctor said during the day, we tend to fall into a position where we are leaning forward by our shoulders. And if we are here all day and we lie with the two pillows, what that does is it lifts the floor up to our head, conforming to our curve that's occurring over time with poor posture, instead of letting our neck and spine stretch back into a nice straight position. She urged the viewers to lie down flat in their beds and to only use one pillow or one that is flat.
No.
And she said, maybe you can do a rolled up towel or something here to support your curve. She said, I have so many patients that when they come in for therapy, I lie them down on their back on the mat and they need at least two pillows. Sometimes I can even have to lift the head off the mat up because they cannot lie flat without discomfort, or their head kind of is going like this. She explained it tilted her head all the way back. So she's saying, especially if you're really propping your head up, you may want to consider that.
It's uncomfortable. You wouldn't probably do that anyway.
All right, and just some information I thought I would pass along from the Just Saying Institute today.
Very helpful stuff.
All kinds of medical studies that have been done. We try to bring you up to speed on. We do need to close down the campus and move along because our guest is on the way. Our first guest of the morning will be Brian Tyree Henry from Dope Thief. So we'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll get with him. And then Bert Kreischer is going to be on the program, too. Stay with us.
Of that call where we're on her face and hearing her realize what her husband is doing, that's as much of the scene as
Okay, and for that, was she in the next room? Was she actually on the phone with him while he was doing it, or were you doing a playback? Or?
No, we had him there, so he was obviously we shot them completely separately, but then we have both, and vice versa. She was on set, kind of on the phone with him there, for his side of it, and then we were in the house shooting. It was a totally different day, but he was there for her side of it, so they were both there for each other.
Okay,
that's wild. And by the way, you should probably put some ointment on those fanboy burns you just got.
Yeah. Those could get infected.
That's all right. I'm scabbed over. It's all right. I got the scabs.
All right. Thank you very much, Ryan Johnson. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Now, let's do the B5.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, so let's start with this. Smashing Pumpkins going to kick off their Bright and Oh So Shiny reunion tour in July, and the band's Billy Corgan has now shared a proposed list of songs.
Are you doing music news?
Son of a bitch.
That's amazing.
I was thinking,
I thought it was maybe
weird happen at the music news, or
grabbed the wrong folder.
Maybe he found a King Cobra in his car or something, or.
Look, I'm just on autopilot right now. Okay?
That's exactly what it is, right?
You're at home right now watching The Walking Dead, aren't you?
I am. I haven't seen that episode yet, damn it. Oh, man.
It was great. Thank you. Hey, just great you guys.
I love the music, though. That wouldn't be a tip-off.
It didn't even register with me at all. A man dubbed America's most wanted deadbeat dad.
Let's just call him Billy Corgan.
Has been arrested.
There were a number of missed calls in my life that actually led to opportunities, and you always have to keep your radar open to the fact that there are things in play that you haven't even seen yet that will reveal themselves to you. You just have to be receptive to it.
It all starts with this girl giving me the clap.
The clap.
That's where it started.
You were saved by a social disease.
It all starts with that.
All right, so tell.
This girl gave me the clap. I dated her for 5 years. She was my girlfriend. She slept with my best friend, and then she gave me the clap. I remember going to the doctor, and he was like, "Yo, she's a hoe." By the way, this is
Is that a medical term?
No, this is. He used the more formal RE. I don't know if you can say it on WHORE. I don't know if you can say that on
whore.
Yeah. Oh, if you want, like an idiot, I just spelled it.
Yeah.
Like you can't spell it. So he was like, "Your girlfriend's a whore," and I was like, "What?" By the way, this is when you thought doctors were like older. He's probably just 27 years old.
Yeah.
Like he's just a kid,
dude.
And he was like, she's a whore, man. And he said, I go, no, you got that wrong. He goes, let me ask you a question. When you go to a bar, do you and your junk split up to cover more territory? And I was like, excuse me? And he goes, do you? And I said, no. And he goes, then I'm telling you right now, if you're telling me you haven't slept with anyone else, just her, she gave it to you. She's a whore. She's sleeping around. That's how you get it. You just sleep around.
Yeah.
Oh
And I was like, that's impossible. I want the test. And he was like, I can just give you the medicine. You don't need the test. And I went, no, I don't. I must not have it. She's not a whore. And he's like, all right, I'll give you the test. Q-tip.
Yep.
Yes. I remember saying, brace yourself. And I held on to the thing, and he did it, and I was like, she's a whore! She's a whore! And then I went to her, and I confronted her, and I said, yo, I have the clap. You gave it to me. And she's like, no, that's impossible. And then I said what the doctor said. Let me tell you something. When I go to the bar, me and my junk don't split up to cover more territory, okay? And so, but if that girl hadn't done that, because I told that girl I wanted to be a comedian. I laid in bed the morning of the Miami-Florida State game, and I said, I think I want to be a comedian. Because right after Russia, I'd gone to Europe, and I backpacked, and I ran into a group called The State. I ran into them in Greece. Yeah. We all partied in Greece, and I met them, and I said, how do I get into comedy? And David Wayne said, just write all the time, write down jokes. Anything funny, write it down. And that whole summer, I said, I was funny traveling. Everyone liked me. Thought I could make people laugh. And I was like, I'm going to be a comedian. Came home. First week back, have sex with her, laying in bed, Florida State-Miami game. I say, I think I want to be a comedian. And she was an actress, still is. And she was like...
Not somebody we would know, is it?
No.
Okay. Regional theater, stuff like that?
Yeah. And so
that's what we're calling porn these days.
And she goes, oh, honey, you're stupid funny. You're not smart funny. To be a comedian, you have to be smart funny, and you're stupid funny.
Wow.
So don't, you cannot.
And this is from the whore.
This is from the whore.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh, okay. Never tell anyone your dreams. I get the clap. I then break up with her over the period of you know how those breakups go over 6 months. Yeah. And then I start dating this girl who's, by the way, I love her, but just an oblivious idiot. Yeah. Like I told her I want to be a comedian. She's like, you should do it. Invest everything in it. Why wouldn't you? Right? Oh my God. And I just ran into her last week in wherever I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she's like, I'm so happy you followed your dreams. And I was like, I am so glad you did not see the pitfalls in life that everyone else sees. Yeah. Like, she was just like, do it. Why wouldn't you? I think I want to be a shot girl. And I was like,
dream big.
Oh, she went to New York to be a model. And, she's attractive, but she's not like a model.
Yeah.
But I remember
not a New York model.
And she just walked in and she's like, I want to be a model. And I was like, man, I wish everyone had more of that.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that girl to just give me blind confidence.
Yeah.
That I don't think. I mean, by the way, my first whole year of stand-up, I did not know. I was just doing all the jokes like Angry Sanchez, or I didn't have comedy. I wasn't doing comedy.
Yeah, you had little segments, but
yeah.
You know that's.
And then Will Smith discovers me, and I'm like, I'm so glad I did this. And then you move to LA, you get a TV show, and then
that's how it goes.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for not knowing about life.
And now you understand the weird science behind comedy. The efficiency of words and all that.
Oh yeah. I get blown away. I get blown away sometimes by just that, those little coincidences in life that send you on a path, and then you go, God, what if I hadn't done that?
When I did stand up, I learned, and I did it for about 10, 11 years, and I enjoyed it, but I knew it was actually radio that stepped in out of the blue and became a thing that I just loved because it allowed me to do comedy in a different way. But the refining and there's a joy in that with stand-up and having things fail and having if you can have fun on stage regardless. Even if something's tanking and you're enjoying. Carson was an expert at having fun with tanking.
You got to be cool with the silence.
Right.
I went up one night in the store and I was just trying to write.
Yeah.
And I was bombing. And then someone just goes, talk about Anne Frank. in the audience. And then I go, I used to think Helen Keller and Anne Frank were the same person. Right. And it kills, right?
Yeah.
But I never knew. I didn't know that was funny. I thought I was an idiot. And then they laugh, and I was like, yeah, I found out the Anne Frank house. They're not. And everyone was like, what? I was like, yeah, you didn't. And I tell the story, and it's very simple. I thought they were like, you want to go to the Anne Frank house? I was like, yeah, we'll get a bag of weed and get high and we'll laugh. And they're like, laugh? I go, yeah, put a plunger in her toilet, chuck it up. And they're like, what? And they're like, I don't think you can go to her bathroom. And they're like, you can see the closet they kept her in. I was like, they kept her in a closet?
Oh, dude.
I swear to God. And they're like, yeah, the Nazis are looking for her. I go, the Nazis? You're telling me, I go, how many times did this chick roll snake eyes? Can't see, can't hear, can't talk, locked in the closet. Nazis are looking for her. And so I tell this on stage. I get off stage and Rogan's like, please tell me that's in your act. I go, no. I was like dead serious. I go, I'm being dead serious. And he goes, that is the funniest thing. He goes, are you being serious right now? I go, I'm being dead serious. He goes, when did you find out they're not the same person? I go, at the Anne Frank house. We're high as crap. I'm telling Helen Keller jokes. And I'm like, she had a dog, right? And they're like, what? I was like, to my friends, I'm like, oh, he ran away. And they're like, how do you know so much about Anne Frank? I was like, well, you would too if her name was. And this lady goes, are you telling Helen Keller jokes? And I'm like, oh my God. So then I take that story, I tell it on Comedy Central with Ari Shaffir on This Is Not Happening, and then all of a sudden you got a bit. But if you're not willing to fail or get the clap, so if you have the clap right, I think what we're saying is, if you're listening and you have a venereal disease, this might be the best day of your life.
Look at it as a plus.
Success is just around the corner.
Success is just around the corner.
The Sherry's Berries are of that ilk.
I just want to give them some more free advertising because they have this amazing salsa and guacamole dip.
I don't even want to talk about that. You just made a mess in my mouth. I know I just said
that. You just made a mess in my mouth. How am I going to explain it to my mother?
Good.
I told you he would do that. He's a football player. Did he give you that line about the big game?
Damn it.
He made a mess in your mouth, didn't he?
Start the countdown clock for when that is isolated and repeated many
already
times.
working on it.
I know she is.
It's like goo. Goo. Did he leave goo in your mouth?
Oh, gross.
Go back to the strawberries. I want to talk about the strawberries.
Yeah, because now he messed it all up with salsa and guacamole.
Yeah,
I'm
skip that.
thinking
Let's go back to
sweet and savory. The deep fried brownie is glorious.
But she's just saying chocolate covered things.
In general,
and trying to do it yourself.
It's hard because you have to know what's going to be the right consistency.
Kathy, you end up on Pinterest with nailed it.
Yeah, exactly.
What is this case?
I just hit the button.
Oh, Jesus. You just made a mess in my mouth.
I'm going to need that over here.
I know you are. I know you are. That'll go next.
It was the day I would never forget.
That'll go next with the ball sacks are yummy. Right?
Ball sacks are yummy.
You just made a mess in my mouth. Ball sacks are yummy. You just made a mess in my mouth. Ball sacks are yummy. You just made a mess in my mouth. Ball sacks are yummy. I can't do the stutter thing.
Well, you might be able to.
Ball sacks are yummy. You just made a mess. You just made a mess in my mouth. Ball sacks are ball sack. You just made a mess. You just made a mess in my mouth. Ball sacks are yummy. You just made a mess in my mouth.
It's like Max
sacks are yummy. Do it slowly.
Oh, okay.
Even sexier.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Oh, wait.
You just made a mess in my mouth.
Ball sacks are yummy.
You just made a mess in my mouth.
Okay.
Sounds a little Mandy-ish.
It does, doesn't it? Oh, dear Lord. What were we talking about?
Chocolate. Made a mess in my mouth.
No, it's
Hi, my name is Mandy, and you just made a mess in my mouth.
Hey, director Jennifer Lee hinted that Elsa may get a girlfriend in Frozen 2.
What?
Yeah, she said.
That's why it's called Frozen 2 Cold Cooter.
She said, where we're going with it, we have tons of conversations about it, and we're really conscientious about these things.
Listen, I can help warm that thing up.
She said
You let Cold Cooter go.
She said the sequel is expected in 2019.
I consider that a personal achievement that Kathy likes Cold Cooter.
The shocking part is that you didn't.
I was still laughing, and Preston just kept going. I'm like, nobody really
But
said
I mean,
anything
for
about
Kathy
that.
Romano to enjoy Cold Cooter, I think I'm just going to sit out the rest of the show.
It's inventive.
Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel have signed on to reprise the roles of Anna and Elsa in Frozen 2. So
They always say this stuff, but they never follow it. This is the Spider-Man where he's going to be gay.
Yeah.
But they
You
never
know
do it.
There's a show, I forget the name of it, but Jace is watching it, and one of the kids in the show has dads. And two dads, and
It's a Disney show, isn't it?
I can't remember. It's
Disney,
a cartoon. I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
Crazy Family or like Loud Family or something like that. And
we watched a show called My Two Dads.
Yeah.
but I was just
different.
surprised. He just watches it like he didn't. It was just normal. Like this one kid has two dads. This other kid has a mom and a dad, and it was just.
Mommy, did you hear Elsa's a lesbian?
Yeah, that'll be next.
It's just totally the other way. It has no sense of it. It's totally fine. Elsa's lesbian?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
It's on Nickelodeon.
The Loud House?
Yes, that's
There
it.
you
That's
go.
it.
Okay, yeah.
No kidding. I have.
We're gay!
I've not
and
seen it.
loud!
And they're pretty.
Thanks, Kath. Our next guest is here to promote Dope Thief. The first 2 episodes are available now on Apple TV Plus. Steve, you're all in, man.
I love it.
Yep, and it takes place in Philadelphia. You're going to recognize all kinds of places and obviously tons of references. So please welcome to the studio this morning, Mr. Brian Tyree Henry.
What's going on, gang?
How you doing, man? Nice to see you.
It's a pleasure to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
You got it. And we love, the show takes place in Philadelphia.
Yes,
so
sir.
we are going to put our arms all the way around this.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I love hearing that from you early in the morning. Put your arms around me.
We've been screwed sometimes where places will double as Philadelphia.
Sure.
From the second this show starts, it's Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
You can tell. You're seeing the area. And what we've known for a long time is how that can really inform good, taught drama. And I got to tell you something. The show is terrific. We'll talk about the plot and all those elements. But my wife was getting so nervous watching it that she stood up and was standing in the doorway watching it. And she's, no, I want to watch. But it was there's so many moments of tension because immediately you connect with these two characters who are full of faults. You're talking about Ray and Manny are the two characters, and you play Ray. And the plot, explain the plot conceit, because it in episode 1, the predicate for the rest of the run of episodes starts, and it's brilliant.
Well, you're following these two characters, Ray and Manny is played by the wonderful, brilliant actor Wagner Moura from Narcos. And we are two best friends who pose as DEA agents and decide to come up with a little scheme of robbing trap houses because this takes place in the year 2021. So there was this huge thing about trap houses not being able to move product or money because the borders and everything were closed due to COVID. So, a lot of knuckleheads were like, well, let's get it. Mm-hmm. So we decide to do that. We pose as DEA agents, but we end up going out to a certain house that is not so great, and we end up robbing the wrong house, and now we're
the worst house.
Yeah, it's
the worst house.
It's the worst house.
Not to give stuff away, but there's multi-levels to what your mistake.
Oh man!
And you find out, but Preston, they got the DEA jacket.
We're official.
You're looking
we
real
printed
official.
them out, got the hats and everything. We didn't put in a job application, but we did go and get DEA jackets made.
This is from a book that the source is 2009, Dennis Tafoya.
Yeah, Dennis Tafoya. Yeah,
and not familiar with it.
He's local.
Oh, is he?
He's from our area, yeah.
So you're the executive producer on it. Did you come across the book and get this rolling?
It happened that Ridley Scott, who directed our first episode and executive produced as well, gave the story to Peter Craig, who wrote our series and is our showrunner and EP. And Peter, decided to adapt it, and then Peter brought it to me, and I absolutely fell in love with Ray, even though I was a little hesitant to do it because I'd been doing TV for so long. Like, doing series
it's a commitment.
It's tiring, man. It's tiring. Prop me up because I'm still exhausted. But there was something about this that really spoke to me. Being able to be the lead of the show, to actually be the center focus of the show was really exciting. And then they were like, well, we want you to EP. And I was like, well, how can I not do that? And also knowing that it was going to film here was very exciting to me, to be able to see a story like this following these two guys.
And you were leading the commitment to keep it here, even during the strike
Without
and everything.
a doubt,
And for you were in the area for 9 months. Were you
Longer, a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Wow. Yeah.
What'd you think?
I mean, I'm back, baby. I'm happy. I love Philly, and Philly showed me so much love, so I couldn't leave.
You know, it's wild is because Philly itself is something that we all love, and your characters love it, but it has also been the city that
it's tried to kill us.
Yeah,
it tried
the
to kill us.
city you love is a city that's trying to kill you.
But isn't that the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I found in my career, I've had the luxury of playing these men who are from the city, because I always think that the city that the story takes place in is another character.
Yeah.
So therefore, I've played these characters that were born and raised, but also kind of stuck in the city and what that feels like, and wanted to show those parallels in these characters as well.
I love the show as well. I watched the first 2 episodes last night, and Brian, it's really, really well done. I also love the fact that it's shot and filmed in Philadelphia, and the amount of jobs that creates is not lost on any of us. I got a really cool instant message on Instagram, or direct message on Instagram, and said, I'm a resident of Philadelphia. This is from a location scout. I wanted to see if you guys could hype up the TV show Dope Thief. Most of the Dope Thief crew had a great time on it. We want to get a second season and keep working. and then she talks about how the fact that most of the film, or most of the show, was shot in and around our area.
Absolutely.
You guys go up to Ottsville.
Man, Ottsville. Yes, we did. We were in Amish country. We would sometimes film in Kensington. Then we were in Manayunk. Then we'd be in Chestnut Hill sometimes, which I can't believe they let us do what we did in Chestnut Hill. But it was wonderful. Every single part of this show we made sure was in the streets, in the back roads,
and it feels
in the
it.
homes. Yeah,
you know it. I mean, we know when it's shot here, and we know, and it feels, and it breathes. And also, I was telling these guys, Brian, there is a kind of a point break race through the backyards behind row homes.
That's me, actually. If you watch it, that is really
I could tell
for my life.
And dude, you super athletic. I mean,
we try.
Yeah, but I mean the action scenes are nail biting. But I always not having seen a lot of the back of the row homes, you always see the front. I'm like, I knew it was a mess back there.
Oh man. And it's so funny. Someone asked the other day, they were like, did they clean the alleys for you? And I was like, yeah, they did. But then we added our own trash just to make sure it's really authentic.
It felt real.
Brian, is this going to be a limited series, or do you guys plan on multiple
Right now,
seasons?
it's in the limited category for us, yeah. I mean, like, who knows? I mean, but right now we're doing limited just to see.
Well, that's got to be tricky with an ending of the season. You know what I mean? If you want to leave it open-ended and have the story continue on, but you also don't, if it wraps, and you want to have it a definitive end. Is that a tough thing to navigate?
It is. I mean, especially with a show like this, because when you watch this season, you will literally see me fighting for my life every episode. And
starting from episode 1.
Starting literally from the first 3 minutes of the episode. So, I have to rationalize, for me, what is going to get the most mileage as well. I do want to say that the Philly crew was one of the best crews I have ever worked with. I love each and every one of them so much. Like, I can't explain to you, like, every day, starting every day and ending every day with this crew. It was wonderful as well, because when we went on strike, that strike lasted for 7 months. And so I stayed here just to make sure, like, I wanted to make sure that everyone was good. And I also wanted to experience Philly at the same time. But I have to say that when the strike came off, every single person came back. Like, they did not have to come back to the show. Like,
that's
every
great.
single person came back. So I have nothing but love for the Philly crew.
The other thing about this show is that it reminded me I live a really cushy lifestyle. Like, you guys are in some gritty places. And what was that like for you to film in places like that?
I mean, I loved it. Like I was saying before, being able to play these characters who are natives of the city that, the series takes place in is a big deal. Like, even when we were filming Atlanta, my character is the Atlanta native. He's born and raised, never really got a chance to get out. When I was doing Causeway, James is the native of New Orleans. It was always there. And so when I got to play Ray, who was not only a born and raised in Philly, but also incarcerated in Philly. You know what I mean? I was like, he was also in the system of Philly. So yet you have another set of challenges that are telling him that he can't leave. This is where he needs to be. These are the parameters of his freedom. And then he does this little scheme that then traps him in Philly because now everything is trying to kill him in Philly. So there was just something that I really wanted to bring to the authenticity of him. I really wanted people to feel like they could relate to Ray. Now, that's another thing. I feel like Ray is somebody's cousin, somebody's brother, somebody's uncle. We know him.
You can, who essentially has a good heart.
Absolutely.
And you're mirrored. So to me, it kind of reads. It's sort of it's a love story with friends.
Thank you. That's what we wanted.
You and Manny have spent your life together, going through bad stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone has that one person that. To thick it then, and sometimes I haven't liked you, and sometimes, but you're always the one there with me.
Between you and Preston, who's Ray and who's Manny? Be honest.
I
didn't watch the episode.
Preston would be Ray. I think Steve would be Manny.
You think so?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah,
because of my swarthy sort of good looks.
And that and the fear in your eyes right now is like what makes me think.
Well, I'll tell you why Preston is Ray, because of the dad voice. Preston has a dad voice, and you in more than once you talk about the fact that when you're proposing the command voice, these DEA agents have to go in and control the situation. Preston can do that.
What's your dad voice? What is
Well, I mean, there's
right there.
Look out! Hey! Talking.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
No. Felt and heard.
Thank you.
There's a funny. By the way, the episodes are funny. There's some funny.
There's a lot of humor.
And you're trying to explain to a guy you know is going to be an F up who you bring along, and you're trying to explain the ins and outs of the presentation to sell that you're. And by the way, tons of pop culture references. The music selections are very interesting.
This is where being an EP helps.
Yeah.
Because I was able to be in there and really get into the sauce of it. You know, like me and Peter had such an amazing collaboration. And Peter is brilliant because Peter is so great at finding humor in the darkness. If you think about, the movies he's written before, like Hunger Games and
The Town.
The Town, and Batman.
Yeah.
So he always knows how to bring those elements out of characters where it's like everything feels like it's falling down around you, but you still can find that humor.
All right, so I want to ask about bringing things out of characters, because at the end of the second episode, I'm not going to give too much away, but your character has a very, very emotional moment.
Yeah.
So I want to ask about filming something like that. How long did that scene take to film, and how hard is it to find that emotion on several takes?
It wasn't hard to do because, what you're watching is essentially a character who has been running for his life, not knowing where his friend is, feeling alone, feeling trapped, and then all of a sudden having that kind of cathartic release. I think that was something that I really liked the most about Ray, is that here he is, this stoic big guy, that it seems like he has it all together, but in those moments of silence, he realizes how alone he is, and so he has this major breakdown that he can't stop. And even in that, there's still humor because he's crying about the wrong thing. He thinks that she's telling him about one thing, and it's not, and so there's still humor in that. But when we were doing it, I remember telling our director, Jonathan Van Tulliken, of that episode, who's wonderful, because I just want to say this. There's something I think about me that people love to watch me go through trauma. I have to be honest. I was like, how many, even right now I'm filming a movie where I was like, I'm in another bulletproof vest. I was like, I'm covered in blood again. I don't know what.
You're good at it.
Thank you. But I was like, okay. But even in that take, I was just like, hey, JVT, I don't have that many to do because, Ray is really losing it. So I have to advocate a lot of times to make sure that it gets space to breathe.
We're fascinated by the craft of acting. It's so far beyond what any of us could possibly do. And
we're barely holding on right now.
and I'm always blown away by the way your profession, people that are great in your profession, you shoot out of sequence most of the time. And your character has evolved differently in different time periods.
Yeah.
And it's got to be one of the bigger struggles of, okay, here's where this guy is right now. I know where he's eventually going to be because I read the source material and I know what's going to happen, but I got to dial it back a little bit here. I'm not quite to that emotional trauma that's going to be or that we did 2 days ago.
For sure.
You know
and also, you got to
Yeah.
remember that you are an actual living, breathing person where stuff is happening around you at the same time. I was telling someone the other day, I was like, people have to remember that when we're doing, as actors and artists, we're doing these scenes that have intense emotional weight and all these things, but our body doesn't know it's fake.
Yeah.
So we're generating all this trauma and all this emotion, but our body goes into this place of like, how do I protect you? Like, what can I do?
Real hormones.
Yeah, real stuff is going on. And so
Yeah.
you have to really find a place. And I say this often. I was like, if this script had come to me 5 years ago, I don't know if I would have been able to carry it, because there's a lot of things that Ray is going through, dealing with his father and the daddy issues that go on, his addiction. He's dealing with, trying to find recovery and dealing with grief. And I think that Brian 5 years ago didn't have the tools to really figure that out. And I was working through it. And I think that when Ray came to me, I finally was like, I'm in a good place where I feel like I can actually go in and help Ray lay these burdens down.
Well, you were delivering it, and you also, there's flashbacks to someone who's very important in your life, who we learned has gotten killed, and all these things. You're these people that everyone looks at and goes, you can do it if you can just. And then everything turns to hell, and it reminds me of things like The Departed or Straw Dogs, or it has that sort of, the gunfights and the visceral violence. That's top level cinematic stuff. And in fact, the story nails something. And Nick, who has ever seen it, if you've ever been down a tight alleyway with a truck coming down, and I won't say any more than that.
No.
But I mean, everyone has thought that, and it's depicted in this.
And we made sure to really show you what could happen if it.
I want to find out how you guys actually did that.
It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah?
It's pretty cool. Like, it was one of my favorite days to shoot. I was like,
Brian, there's I don't want to give anything away either, but there's a song in the second episode that has to do with a ringtone, and I was watching this last night, and it was driving me crazy, and it drives your character crazy.
Yeah.
Did you know what the song was?
No.
Okay, all right.
So most of those reactions you see are really me being like, what is this song, man? I know. And I think that was also like some improv that we did, because like I heard this ringtone and I was like, what is, like, you know this song, like, and not worried about the dead body the ringtone's coming from. It's just like, no, this song is gonna drive me nuts, man.
There's a reveal at the end, and then of the episode 2, and then it goes into that song, and I just have to say that was so effing satisfying.
Oh god,
thank you.
I was like, we just gotta lean into it at this point. Just play the whole thing, man. Just do it. That's hilarious.
If you're just tuning in, Brian Tyree Henry is here. We're talking about Dope Thief. First 2 episodes now available on Apple TV Plus. Speaking of music, and it's the whole thing is based in Philadelphia, so there's obvious references for people who live here to really go, oh yeah, you know, and we really sink into it. So I have a clip that I'm going to play. I don't know if this pertains to what you were talking about, Nick, or not. I watched, by the way, Brian, I watched the wrong show.
No, Preston, I kind of gathered that when I sat down that...
No, you gotta
tell him what you watched.
So I ended up watching... I watched Deli Boys, which takes place in Philadelphia.
Okay, yeah,
and
very
starts
different.
with a D as well.
Got it, 2 words. Got it.
Dumbass.
Yeah, it's
should
okay.
be the name of
it's
my
okay,
show.
Preston.
So
It's
anyway,
okay.
I'm dying to see this. So, and by the way, I watched the whole episode. I'm like, I didn't see him.
See
one
Brian
time.
once. He said, "Where is he's a deli owner in this?"
So he might maybe they introduced him in the
Maybe
second.
so.
Second episode. I don't know. So anyway, our sister station, which is right down the hall, gets mentioned. So does that have
It's
to?
a different scene, but it's still cool to hear it.
He's talking to. It's something involving Kate Mulgrew, who plays your
the wonderful Kate
mother. Yeah.
Mulgrew.
So I'm going to play this clip because our buddies down the hall would, I'm sure, love this. Here we go.
All you do is stay stuffed up inside with your little scratch cards. Now you need to enjoy life.
But why does it have to be this second?
Because it's a prize. You don't cash it in, you gonna lose it. It's been that long since you won something, huh? You forgot how prizes work.
Oh, surprise!
Yeah, radio prize. Call in.
Oh, what station?
WMGK. You know WMGK. Yeah. I had to name the song. Now, look, you need to go down the shore because you deserve it. You hear me?
How do you like listening to yourself or watching yourself?
It's always, I'm always like, you're an idiot, bro.
You rolled your eyes while we were playing that.
I was like, I remember that day too. It was just so funny. Kate Mulgrew, I mean, she's a legend, man. And like when you get a chance to be in a scene with her, especially one like this where it's, because the whole scene is me lying. Like I'm truly lying to this woman about where I was.
You're trying to save her life.
I'm trying to save her
but
life
you're completely
while stashing
lying.
drugs, stashing guns, getting bullets, moving all this thing. And I'm just like, go down the shore. Like, I need you to go away. And she's like, but for what? What are you, like, she clearly clocks that I'm lying. And so it's this whole back and forth of me just coming up with stuff. And even in the scene, we would just throw things at each other just to see how we could throw each other off.
She's usually, an elegant, she's been Captain Janeway in Star Trek, and she was the Mrs. Columbo. And,
Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
So, but in this case, you also have her, and you have Ving Rhames,
Yeah.
who's amazing.
Legend.
Yeah.
Talk about voices, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and in fact, when you first see him, he's wearing something, and you don't fully understand what's going on until what's happening at the end of the second episode. You're like, okay, that's what's happening right now. I love that, and I love. Listen, and we've talked about this many times on our show. Apple TV Plus, I have grown to trust the product that they put out.
There's a pedigree.
There is a pedigree, and so the fact that you guys have a little bit of time and space to have these characters grow and build, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not trying to squeeze it all into like 2.5 hours.
No. They gave us a lot of runway to play and do what we wanted to do and build it the way we wanted to do it. They basically, our wonderful exec, Spencer Wong, who was bringing in such provocative, amazing storytelling, gave us so much space to play, like so much space to play. And then when you get somebody like Ridley Scott, that brain, when we had him, he was 84 years old, coming off of Napoleon and then going to Gladiator 2. And we were just
amazing.
like, okay. And he films with 6 cameras. I don't know if you know that. So literally there's 6 cameras on set. And sometimes you know where they are and sometimes you don't.
Because the coverage, it
covers everything. It was really, it was very intense and provocative and amazing all at the same time.
And that's it. Again, if you need to check out the show because it is, again, if you like anything that sinks its teeth in and you're like, I love these things where you have sort of a compacted, it's do or die time now. It's like when you're
very,
trying
very
to get
high
your
octane.
high
And it's
octane.
okay if you take Adderall before you watch. You might need to.
I wanted to mention you have Dustin
Nguyen
from 21 Jump Street
man.
years ago
Yeah.
is playing a shadier Vietnamese boss to you.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him at first. I know this guy. He was terrific.
It pisses you off because he's still as stacked as he was back then. And I was like, how are your pecs still like? But Dustin was absolutely wonderful. Like his character is someone who took Ray under his wing, but also like taught him the streets and how to do all the stealing and everything. But that's yet another familial aspect that he still views him as family.
Cool.
Brian, the scene with Ving Rhames, you were really hyped up, and there you got some issues with anger and frustration, whatever. And Ving's character in that scene is really subdued. Is it challenging for you to bring one level of energy where the person literally on the other side of that wall is much more relaxed, much quieter?
No, what was interesting about that scene is one of my favorite scenes that I shot in this series, honestly, because there's so many different things going on. Like here, Ray was once incarcerated, and now he's going in to visit his father, who's still incarcerated. And my favorite moment of that is not so much what's said, but he still smuggles a pack of cigarettes. Man. Like you see him get pat down, and somehow he's still got this pack of Newports to his father. But what was really cool about how Peter wrote that is that it's finally that moment where Ray gets to tell his father everything he has felt about him. And then we're with this plexiglass that's between us. And I'm coming to my father because I feel like you ratted me out. But at the same time, my father was like, I was there for you. I was a good father. And I'm like, well, now let's go for it. And Ving, man, is just sitting there, like taking it. But also you can see the daggers hitting him. And also I can't jump across this table. Like I can't, the whole thing is the barrier that's there, which is metaphoric as well. And also losing myself for the fact that I'm doing this argument in prison where you used to be, and these guards and these families are looking, and Ving just does it with such weight and complexity, and just he take after take we would do these crazy recognition things, because like the plexiglass also is reflective, so there would be moments that I'm talking to him and I'd see my face like going. It just
Because you were in prison as well.
I was there as well, and most of the time, I was like, it's because of you. Like this is something I learned. This is something I saw. Like this is the father I know, and I think it was one of the most beautiful scenes. Like also a lot of things that I wanted to say to my dad at some point, because I was like, oh, I get to purge a lot of this. A lot of this show is very cathartic.
I was excited to meet you today. I was curious about what your style is, because when I first got the email saying that you were available to join us in the studio, I immediately just thought of your character from Bullet Train.
the Canadian tuxedo.
Dude, I thought you looked good. I thought you rocked
I requested it. That was me going. I was like, it needs a Canadian tuxedo and suspenders. I was like, that's what I want.
When you could stand next to Aaron Taylor Johnson and be styling as well.
Thank you.
That's pretty damn good. Yeah. It's awesome. So, talking about a few other things. Last night, watching the episodes and how gritty they are, and doing some research, you were in the original cast of Book of Mormon?
Yeah, I was.
The original cast.
Yeah,
with Josh Gad?
Yeah, Josh Gad, Andrew Reynolds, Nikki James, yeah.
Talk about a dichotomy.
Something. What a time that was, man. I can't believe we got away with all the stuff we got away with on that show. You know, we workshopped it for quite a while, and then it went straight to Broadway. There was no out of town anything. We went straight to Broadway,
and it destroyed.
It just went crazy. I think that people on Broadway were just ready to hear us say the foulest, craziest things. Like, there's so many things that I do in that show. I remember I was like, wait, I get to shove a Book of Mormon up his ass. That's what I was like. This is what happens after intermission every night. All right, cool. And it was great. It was a great time, and I stayed with that production for 3 years. I was there for.
Wow! I'm telling you, then I probably saw you.
You definitely did.
And I'm telling you, I laughed so hard when they first get to Africa. Like, dude, that scene.
Yeah, there's a lot that now I think has had to change just because of the tone of it, which thankfully happened. But like, I know that I had the opportunity to be the first person to say an expletive on the Tonys. That was really great because my character's name, I don't know if I can say it, but it's General Butt fucking naked. Okay, that's it. So when I got to get to the Tonys, I can't say that. And so when I got to get to the Tonys, I literally got to swear. It was great. I was like, we made. That's how you know you made it.
It's hilarious.
Man, you've done a lot in your career. You started off reading a little bit about you, and doing Shakespeare, and it's gone from that to Broadway to shows and movies. The voice of Megatron and Transformers 1.
And that was great.
That was amazing as well.
Thank
Talk
you.
about voices, you and Ving Rhames.
Yeah.
I mean, that's two powerful, resonant voices.
He's
together.
a legend. He's who I watched, growing up. I've studied him, and so for him to play my father, it was a dream come true.
And you got your master's of fine arts at Yale?
Yeah.
Wow, man.
MFA at Yale School of Drama. It was known as Yale School of Drama then. It's now David Geffen School of Drama.
So my daughter's a theater major at Michigan State University.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Way to go.
So just got into the musical theater minor, which was cool. But Yale, do they not offer free tuition for masters?
They do. But when I went there, it wasn't all free. Like now, if you go, it's a full ride. But for the most part, everything was free. Like we just had to figure out how to pay rent. I was, you mean the most important part?
Yeah.
That's what I loved about Yale is it really wasn't. Yes, it was about the curriculum of learning theater and training, but it was no. Also, you need to know what it's like to be a waiter. You would have to bus tables. You would be ushers. That's why I don't eat pizza now, because at one point I got paid in pizza because I would have to tear down sets and stuff, and instead of paying me, they're like, well, here's pizza. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm stuck. So it's all the true things that every actor should know, honestly. The Yale definitely served it up to us.
So Dope Thief, new episode this Friday, third episode.
Yes.
You, as an executive producer now, you've had a taste of everything. Your fingers can be in everything in the creative process.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to continue?
There's no going back now.
No going back.
I was like, you've created a beast. It's this is my new addiction. I love it. But I mean, I think that's something that I think every actor wants, right? Because for me, I felt like all the projects I've been part of, I've been contributing in that way anyway. I just wasn't credited as an EP. I love character development. I love knowing what the music is. I love knowing what the set is going to look like. I'm come from the theater world, and the theater world is incredibly collaborative. So no one person is bigger than the show is my motto. And so now being able to be a part of that and seeing how it's done, it's just it's so fulfilling. It's a lot of work, man. I remember sitting through the edits. I was like, oh, so every second we have to so you got to go back and cut that. Okay, cool. But I loved it, man.
It
really
works.
Loved it.
It works.
Thank you.
It's a damn good show.
Thank you so much.
Long days in the editing room, I'll bet, man.
Well, for Deli Boys, yeah, it was.
Yes. You're never going to live that down.
That was phenomenal. Dope Thief, first 2 episodes are out now. Next one coming on Friday. How many total for the season?
There are 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
For the season, yes.
Excellent. All right, Brian, good luck with everything, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for busting my balls.
All right, man. I love you, Preston, man.
I deserve it.
All good. Thank you, guys.
Brian, Tyree, Henry, thank you very much for being here. We're going to take a quick break. Come back with our friend Bert Kreischer. Stay with us.
is pretty feminine, and they one of the episodes, or at least the one that I watched, they go on a skiing trip, and the dads are very overprotective and nervous that the kids are going to get hurt. And,
Wow,
Interesting.
The voice of one of them is Wayne Brady, and then the voice of the other is Michael McDonald, the singer.
I'm in love with a dude. I turn around and he goes to town on me. It feels so good.
That's not what they do in the show.
Is it
We call it the Hershey Highway.
Are you sure it's the Michael McDonald?
Nope.
Okay.
I got distracted by the singing.
Sweet freedom. We're just two dudes and we're getting it on.
Penis by penis
by penis
by penis.
I'm working my way through. Obviously, we're approaching it with sensitivity.
Of course we are.
And compassion.
See,
I think it's cool.
We are a progressive show, obviously, not even remotely having fun.
Very different Michael McDonald.
All right,
Oh, it's the one from
I know that guy.
Mad TV. There was an actor, Steve, you'd recognize
He's
this guy.
excellent. He's very funny.
Yeah, he's a great actor, and
Okay.
he plays the other gay dad.
It's not the one from
the Doobies.
the Doobie Brothers. Though I've dabbled occasionally, now and then, I like some dudes.
I like your Michael McDonald,
Thank you.
Steve.
I'm a fan of man junk, like it on my head. They call it what they call it, a Roman helmet.
Michael McDonald isn't singing this song.
Oh, God
This
damn
is
it.
Tom Johnston.
That's Tom Johnston. There you go. That's
Thank
it.
you
That's-
very much.
That's Michael McDonald.
You don't know me, cause I'm your all the lyrics sound like the others.
So it's called what's called Loud House.
Well, that's
Yeah,
Michael
yes.
MacDonald, right? And this is Michael McDonald?
You might
or
be
are
right.
they both? Mick.
They're both McDonald.
Both Mick.
Mc- oh,
M-C-D-O-N-A-L.
McDonald had a heart, he had a hair, with a
I don't know what animal you just
I
said.
don't know.
I don't know what
Neither do
noise. I don't know what noise to make.
and the hair goes. He does the Michael McDonald see and say.
Okay, so Michael McDonald,
The Loud House.
the Loud House.
The Loud House.
Yeah, there you go.
And you were just singing "Oh McDonald" gives me a reason to play this.
That was me from 2 days ago. Okay, what else do we have here?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Jeff Franklin, the creator
You don't get news like this anywhere else.
and showrunner for Fuller House and the creator of the original Full House, has been fired from Warner Brothers.
Why?
What happened?
And
What happened to the talented man? He created Full House.
I don't know why you're still here.
don't
know.
even question.
I heard it was breakfast.
There was another time, and I got really pissed off at this one too. A buddy and I went into a bar that had pool tables, and we just wanted to shoot some pool. We weren't there exclusively to do it. It was, hey,
Right.
pool tables.
Let's do it.
Let's shoot a game of pool. So we go over to play pool. Nobody's playing at the table. And we go to play, and there's a couple sitting at the bar. They're like, no, the table's ours. I'm like, there's nobody playing here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, our quarters are on the table. I'm like, yeah, but you're not playing pool.
No. Quarters indicate next.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So my buddy and I'm like, yeah, we want to play against each other. No, you got to play us.
No.
And see, so it was their ownership of the table because they currently were the winners of, and so I tried to tell the bartender this, and the bartender's like, no, they're right.
No,
I'm like,
you own the table if you stay at the table
and keep playing.
Yes, and then you can put the quarters out
Yeah.
to indicate who's going to challenge the winner.
But
Maybe
apparently
they were looking for somebody to play. They had their quarters
but
there.
they left.
I didn't want to play with them. I wanted to play with my buddy, and we weren't interested in playing.
You're not doing a tournament.
Because we just wanted to play a friendly game amongst ourselves, as opposed to these two a-holes, which of course they were great playing. They were great at pool, and they ended up beating us. But I was just like,
I don't want to play against you.
Does anybody understand
Yeah.
the issue here? They weren't playing pool. They were sitting at the bar, which was empty, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is this? this is what you do.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are a bunch
This
of
is
dicks.
what you do.
You should have done the thing that
this is your thing.
that the Joker does in The Dark Knight and break it in half. And
I know. We're having tryouts.
I think I have a good idea.
Ask me how I got these scars. My wife was always sad. I just wanted her to smile.
There are times when I wish I didn't care about getting arrested. You know what I mean? Just snap the cue and
So
go.
the question you have to ask yourself is it worth letting me and my friend play pool?
You're right.
What about this?
Or do you want this cue rammed through your optic nerve?
Steve, that is going to be my go-to from now on. When I have that confrontation moment, I'm going to think about that and maybe pull a joke.
Sure, why not?
You know? Is it the scars?
Scars.
Are they bothering you?
Just wanted her to smile.
I love it. But some people did have to make a night of it on Friday. And one of the stories that we didn't get a chance to hear was from our intern, Christy, because she was up at the Cardboard Classic with us and made a break for it on Friday after the Cardboard Classic. And we heard, now I've already heard the story, but I'll let her tell you
I
guys,
haven't, yeah.
that she ended up having to stay with a stranger, that a stranger took her in is what I heard.
Right.
So I started asking her about it. I'm like, we should hear this story on the air. So, Christy, you left. Did you leave right after the sledding was done and try to head home?
Yeah, I left at...
Thanks, Cass. So our next guest just announced his Permission to Party World Tour, which is going to bring him into the general vicinity. He's going to be in Hershey.
He can party in Hershey.
Yep, November 15th at the Giant Center. But what we're really talking about is his new hour special streaming on Netflix. It is called Lucky, and we're happy to welcome back our very good friend and some of our godfather. Yes, the one and only Bert Kreischer.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Good, bud. How you doing, man?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing.
Yeah, you are. I mean, your show is called Lucky, for crying out loud, and it is what I thought, talking about how you indeed are, listen, you're a talented guy, but you certainly have had a lot of really cool things that may have happened by chance in your life, right?
Dude. I mean, if you measure my luck, you're like, this is too much. In college for 6.5 years. Don't study, have no future, no plans on graduating. Rolling Stone magazine discovers me, calls me the #1 party animal in the country. I do stand up for 6 months, move to New York, do it for 6 months, and Will Smith discovers me, gives me a TV show. I get another TV show. I get another development deal. I get a bunch of money. Then I lose all the money, and my wife, who meets me for me. I fall in love. I have 2 beautiful kids. I have a great career. And it turns out that the time I took Russian and accidentally robbed a train in Russia is a story that goes viral. I told on a friend's show. By the way, the friend happens to become the biggest name in media today.
Yeah.
Like, how lucky, for all these influencers that say you got to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, maybe don't.
And listen, I love it when you get caught up in emotion because you can clearly see the gratitude that you have for the life that you have, and you get choked up quite easily. And I think it's just because you're a grateful person. Am I wrong?
No, I bathe in gratitude. And by the way, I do get choked up very easily. I am what they call an open crier. And what's great about this special is the last bit of the special, it has people crying. And I'm getting, people are sending me pictures of their husbands crying and them crying. And I love that I've been able to figure out how to tell a funny story and get people to cry at the same time.
You know, and it's so kind of checking up on material over the years and knowing you're going to be on the show today. And just checking out some of the specials of the past, and you talk about jumping into stand-up, which was not what got you to the dance initially, and then diving in and committing to it. And I'm sure you had a whole bunch of naysayers, but you have really evolved. Your stand-up has evolved, and the stuff has gotten more, I don't want to say complex, but there are more ways you're approaching things and inventive things, and you've got to be happy with your evolution as a stand-up if you can pause and give yourself a pat on the back.
Last night, I watched the special with my sisters and our family friends and Leanne, and I got done and I went, because you always wonder, like, it sits in a can for so long, and I got done and I went, I think I've grown. I was like, I'm really happy with this special.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with the comedy. I love the tags. I love that I draw things back. I mean, I'm patting myself on the back right now, and then I love that last story. I really was proud. I mean, the Snoop story was an accident. It was an accident. I just told it as a lark.
Right.
On the day of the special. And so I was like, but thank you. And yes, I am very proud of myself.
No, and you can see it. I mean, we talk about, like, who we had on recently. We had, like, Tom Papa had a special out where he went much more, I wouldn't say dark for Tom Papa, but he went in a different place, and it was an evolution, and it works. I mean, we just assume the persona of Bert Kreischer is always, laughter and all this stuff going. When you take the stage, though, the laughter only goes so far when people have paid for tickets, and you deliver. So that's a lot of goddamn work.
I think stand-up's gotten so big these days that if you're not taking, like, dangerous chances for you, I'm not saying you have to get political or you have to go racial or you have to go dark. I'm just saying, like, whatever as a comic, you should be challenging yourself to do something out of your comfort zone.
And with you talk about being, there's always the notion that, you work hard and you create your own luck. Of all of the elements that you just mentioned, which do you personally I mean, the fact that you're now weight training with Schwarzenegger, which do you consider, in your context, the most absurd Bert Kreischer evolution or moment?
Jesus.
The one that I mean, for so many that you have, is there one that rises above the others where you just say, this is science fiction?
Dude, I got to be honest. I got to be honest with you. The Rolling Stone, getting discovered by Rolling Stone was like getting plucked out of obscurity and put into the national spotlight was the one that I identify the most. The craziest is when I was doing Dr. Drew. And I was just doing regular stand up.
Right.
And set up punch and surprise and it was Loveline, and someone called in. It was a classmate of mine, and they were like, why don't you they were putting me on blast. They're like, why don't you tell them about the time you robbed your friends in Russia? And I was like, oh yeah. And Drew was like, wait, what's the story? And I told the machine story for the first time on his show, and he looked at me. He was like, dude, that's your story. That's your movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. And then he had me come back the next night and tell it again.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, maybe there's something to this story. I mean, I have so many of these.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. My favorite piece of luck is that I had money and it all went away and I got to be poor. Like, if you make money in LA and you, right when you're 26, I made like $125,000 my first year doing stand-up from Will Smith. And then I kept making that. And if I kept making that, I would be a very broken person. Yeah. Like, I would have gotten into coke. My booze would have been way worse. I would have never found love. Like, I'm so lucky I got famous at 44.
It trains you, does it? So I agree. I couldn't agree more with that. I had an initial burst of success when I started, first time doing stand-up, and I was on a radio show in New York, and the Daily News and the New York Post wrote, glowing things about what I was doing on the show. And we had these articles. I'm like, oh, my God. And I'm like, well, the show got, the new company came in and bought the company and blew out everyone. And I said, wow, I've been in these two major newspapers. Clearly. Yeah. Cut to decades later, but I'm glad that happened because in context, it serves you.
That's the thing. Listen, because I always say I believe in luck more than I do hard work, but you also got to perceive everything as luck. Like, when I had my business manager call me when we were about to have Georgia, we were a month away from having Georgia, and he was like, hey, I need $60,000 for taxes. And I was like, okay, well, what do you just take it out of my account? And he's like, oh, you only have $24,000 left. And I thought, why would the universe do this to me when I didn't get on Last Comic Standing too?
Yeah.
I mean, how lucky am I to never have been on Last Comic Standing, right?
Yeah.
It would have ruined me. It would have ruined me. I would have never worked hard. I would have never had the opportunity to live in obscurity where I got to take chances and figure out my voice. I remember sitting there going, why would the universe do this to me? Why would it give me a child and not give me this fame? I wanted fame.
Right.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, dude, what what was that car accident about last night? Well, maybe it saved your life. You never know.
It's true. Bert, you mentioned working hard, and you work harder than anybody I've ever met as far as just staying on top of stuff, constantly putting yourself into positions that you need to be in and promoting yourself and all that stuff. That wasn't always who you were, that you had to struggle before you figured out that you need to work that much to make this whole thing happen?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I just thought you got a paycheck from Travel Channel. I figured someone would discover you. Like I was like Last Comic Standing. Someone famous would find you and then be like, you get like crowned, and then that's how it happened. And then when I got fired from Travel Channel, I found out how much money Tom Segura was making, and I was like, okay, now I figured I got to work. And I started creating my own videos, creating my own content, doubling down on my podcast, booking guests, recording, learned how to edit. I learned how to work Instagram, and I learned how to promote my own shows. And I remember when I sold out Red Rocks for the first time, I remember saying to myself, I'm so lucky that I can change my own career, that I have the power to sell tickets, that I can create content to put in front of people so that they will buy tickets. Because I watched other comics that were more successful than me, that had been crowned, by the gatekeepers, and they were like, I just can't sell tickets there. And you're like, well, make a video. And they're like, how do you do that? And I was like, oh, thank God I was a failure.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
So who?
The first vlog I ever did was in Philadelphia. The first vlog I ever did was in Philadelphia. You can find it online. And I was like, what are these vlog things? And I was like, I'll try it. And it's weird as hell.
I want to ask who you learned stand-up from, because earlier in the interview, you just used a couple of different words that, just sort of deconstructing the art of writing a joke. And I remember having you on here before, years and years ago, where he was just talking about shushing a cop, and there was another stand-up that you had said helped you hone that joke. But who helped you learn comedy and basically the deconstruction of a joke or construction of a joke?
I think if you're going to say, like, there's three people that I really honed into when I got to New York. Number one was Patrice. We were all obsessed with Patrice. I mean, and Patrice had such a larger scope of what we were all doing and what he was trying to do that I think, and he was always he didn't care if it worked. He wanted to get better. Dave Attell, without a doubt, is like, he taught me how to get into a joke. Like, he was the one that taught me what a joke should be. And then there's a comic named Tony Woods, who was Dave Chappelle's mentor. Yeah. And he was my mentor as well. Like, and he's a storyteller. And like, when I look at like what I do now, it's more like Tony than anyone.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And you picked a couple of great people to serve as your mentors. Dave Attell just is one of those people, like with Norm Macdonald, like, you don't see the strings. It's like scalpel precise, and it would not work coming out of the mouth of anyone else. And so it's something. So when you're putting together, obviously Lucky, Netflix, which still is cool that Netflix has a little bit of a. Listen, a lot of people doing YouTube, great, that's great, and it works. But Netflix still has a bit of gravitas to it for having your specials. When you're presenting a special, you're putting your stuff together and you're working, and they say, okay, we want another special. Do you have to give them any indication whatsoever what it's going to be about or thematically, or it's just they turn the key and you're good to go?
None. Zero.
Nothing.
Zero. I would, and look, Netflix will tell you, Joanne and Robbie and everyone over at Netflix would tell you, they definitely watch your hour. They come and see you at some point. Okay. Like, they watch it. But like, I mean, the only note I got was, don't lose the dog joke. You got to close on the dog joke. They're like, we don't have anything like that on our platform. Wow. That is different.
That was it. One note.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's always like, I remember I did it at the forum, and I think everyone came out. And they're like, we already got it. It's perfect. We just record it. And I was like, okay.
That's wild.
Bert, you mentioned some of the other comedians and making money. And on one of your recent podcasts, you talked about, I guess maybe when it was your first special or when you got your first deal, not to talk about the money with the other comedians. And like you did everything wrong and you told everybody how much money they offered you.
Yeah, I guess everyone finds money gross. I don't. I think I'm curious how much money people make. I'm always fascinated by what people make. Like the first deal I got was $125,000 from Will Smith, and it was a development deal for 1 year. I'll tell you the exact numbers. And Patrice O'Neal came up and he goes, "I heard you got it." And my manager said, "Don't give information, get information. Don't tell anyone how much money you're making on this special." I thought people would be happy for me, and they are not happy for you.
They're not.
And Patrice goes, "I heard you got a development deal." And I went, "No." And he went, "Yeah, you did." And I said, "No." And he goes, "It's with Will Smith." I went, "No." He goes, "How much money is it for?" And I said, "I don't know." And he goes, "You know." And I went, "No, I don't know." And he goes, 100,000. I went 125.
Patrice.
The thing that's changed in stand-up is like, yo, I'll tell Shane Gillis when he would tour with me, I would tell him exactly how much money I was making.
Yeah.
So he knew what he could make, and then he knew he wasn't getting screwed. I'll get into the weeds on this.
Yeah.
I signed a deal. I was one of the first comics, if not the first comic, to sign a touring deal. And that was not happening at the time. They give you a lump sum, and then one producer gets to produce all your touring. And no one was doing that. We were sharing it between AEG, Live Nation, and a company called Outback. And a company came to me and said, "I'll buy all your touring for X amount of dollars." And I signed that deal. And I told comics, that deal's out there. This is how much I made. You should make that. And now, I mean, everyone's got a deal. I mean, Tommy was the first person to negotiate against my deal to get him a better deal. And I think that's how it should work.
Well, that's in the industry. That's how it works. I mean, whether it be actors or comedians or
quarterbacks,
everybody. So, when the precedent is set so someone can go higher than that. But of course, you have to bring something.
Yeah.
You have to deliver. It's not a charity. So and you're doing that. But yeah, I can see that. It's how you base the benchmark of what someone is worth, because it's this amorphous thing. Getting up on stage and talking for an hour. Well, for some people that's gold, and for others it's a nightmare. So that's
how much money does Casey make?
17,000. I'll tell you what my first salary was when I first got this job: $17,500 a year.
Yeah.
And buddy, I remember being there in life. How excited were you,
dude? It was the best. I was like, wait, I'll pay you. I will pay you.
It's the best.
When I got my first offer from comedy clubs, it was $1,300 a week. I had to pay for travel and for hotel, and I thought, I'm the luckiest kid alive.
There was a place called Dixon's White House in Long Island. I'm sorry. It was like $5 you'd get paid to do a set. $5, but it was amazing.
Dude, my first job in stand-up was working the door at the Boston Comedy Club. I made $25 a night, and I was like, dude, that's 5 beers downstairs.
Hey, Bert, real quick on Instagram, I saw a week or two ago you had Adam Ray on, and that dude completely lost it. I think you guys were making something with horseradish in it and maybe wasabi or something along those lines.
Bro.
I love Adam. He's one of those comedians that's evolved a lot for me over the last year or two. What are your thoughts, and what made him choke like that?
Dude, I've never seen someone, and it begs to say that if you're listening to this, you should go watch it. It's on my Something's Burning show on my, and you can find it on my Instagram. I've never seen someone react to spice that way in my life. He literally went like, he did like a. It was so, I thought he was choking. I thought he had an allergic reaction.
Oh, I got to see
this. And he was like, is there wasabi in here? I was like, a little bit of horseradish.
Oh my God.
And he was like,
and it lasted like 10 minutes.
I thought it was a bit. Because, with comics, you never tell. Like, if the day I have a stroke, you're going to be like, wow, he's really committed to this.
Yeah. I got to see that. All right, Bert, we know you got to run. You're talking to a lot of people today, but reminding everyone, Netflix, Lucky, it's streaming now. Bert's coming to Hershey November 15th. You can get those tickets through bertbertbert.com. And when you're back in Philly, obviously, we'll see you here, brother. All right?
Of course. I'm very lucky that I met you guys.
We love you, man. Thank you, bud.
I love you guys to death.
Right, we'll talk to you soon. Bert Kreischer, bud. Wow. And he's killing it. Just killing it.
By the way, we were on a Zoom. He was shirtless the whole time.
The whole time, of course.
And by the way, texts were coming over before the interview even happened, talking about his last joke of the special. Just says it's totally worth the wait to the end of the
he had people crying, so got to see that. All right, it's almost 10 o'clock. We got to do Bizarre File. Here we go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Helium Comedy Club, bringing Philly the best comics of today and tomorrow live every week. And tickets and lineup are available at heliumcomedy.com. So cops in Florida said a man stole an ambulance, led law enforcement on a wild car chase through the streets of Tampa, and then he decided he'd slam his beer before he got dragged out of the driver's seat and thrown into handcuffs.
You might as well.
It's all on video. So TMZ obtained dash cam footage of the Saturday police pursuit, and it shows Florida Highway Patrol troopers pursuing an ambulance as the emergency vehicle runs stop signs, swerves through traffic, drives on the wrong side of the road, nearly crashes into motorists. When the driver finally pulls over, you see him grab a can of beer, slams it before officers open the door and throw him to the ground.
You have no respect for first responders.
The pursuit started after Florida Highway Patrol says they got an alert about a Tampa Fire Rescue ambulance being stolen from Tampa Hospital. Police said troopers found the ambulance about 10 minutes after the call came in, and they attempted a traffic stop, but the driver fled. Law enforcement says 43-year-old Tampa resident Michael J. Esquilin was the driver, and he was arrested on charges of burglary and of an emergency vehicle, resisting arrest, and DUI. Cops said Esquilin told officers that he had been drinking alcohol for the previous 2 days and stole the ambulance after first responders denied him a ride home.
You might have sat on that piece of information.
Yep. A Florida man, we'll stay in Florida for a little bit, was not feeling the luck of the Irish on St. Patrick's Day after troopers say that he forgot to lower the dump bed of his truck.
Oh, man.
And slammed into an overpass, and it sheared it all the way off.
I've seen footage of this happening. Listen, it's horrible, but it's totally fun to watch.
The bed sheared off and got stuck under the overpass while the truck continued forward before stopping just north of the crash.
Did you hear that?
Reported. Engineers from the Florida Department of Transportation inspected the overpass, and they cleared the highway. I remember driving home one day on the Schuylkill Expressway, westbound, and driving by the Gladwin exit, and the sign is way up high.
Yeah.
And it was like dangling.
Yes, that's right. I remember that.
And it turned out a dump truck driver left it up. So it happens more than you realize.
There should be some sort of alert that goes off of it. And
Yeah, I've driven with the hatch of my Outback up completely on a couple of occasions.
All right, so in an experiment that might have once seemed like pure science fiction, an AI-controlled robot managed to persuade other robots to cease their work and to go home for the day.
Well, there you go. I mean, this is what we're talking about.
Conducted in a controlled environment, the goal was to explore the robot's ability to influence its peers. And the result,
on the way home, kill a human.
The result was nothing short of surprising. Not only did the AI robot interact seamlessly with his colleagues, but it also succeeded in convincing them to stop their tasks early, a behavior that left researchers stunned. It was designed to test how AI could communicate with and influence other machines, raising intriguing possibilities for future robotic systems. It's not just about how robots work with humans anymore. It's about how they interact with each other. And so the implications of this development are vast, suggesting a future where machines might have more autonomy than we realize. And it didn't take place without careful supervision. It was conducted under the watchful eye of human researchers, whose primary objective was to test the boundaries of AI's communication and influence. They were tasked with simple chores like moving objects or sorting items. And then the AI was equipped with advanced algorithms that enabled it to communicate with other machines. And by leveraging natural language processing and machine learning, the AI robot used persuasive tactics to encourage its peers to wrap up their duties and head home, I guess, to go wherever it is they call home.
Yeah, whatever.
Although the setting was experimental, the results underscore the growing need to understand how autonomous robots will interact with one another in the future.
There's footage of an AI assistant contacting an AI receptionist for a hotel chain, and they're carrying on a conversation. And at one point, the AI assistant says, "Would you like to use this language that is common to both of them?"
Yep.
And they start talking in their own language.
I saw that too, and I wasn't sure if it was real or not. Because they start essentially talking in gibberish. It's just and like that. And they were going back and forth. I'm curious as to the legitimacy of that, because that's now it's like somebody speaking a foreign language in front of you on purpose so they can talk about you.
We're going to speak Italian.
Yeah. I hope you don't mind.
The computer comes back from the bathroom with a gun in its hand.
A journalistic investigation by a Chinese newspaper revealed the widespread commercialization of fake meats, such as fox or raccoon meat, being sold as beef, mutton, or rabbit to restaurants.
And there's nothing good about this.
So in Chinese areas known for fur population, animal farms resell fox and raccoon, what they call white strips, or carcasses with the internal organs and subcutaneous fat removed, all over the country, passing them off as beef, mutton, or rabbit. And some vendors even go through the trouble of braising and grilling their fake meats before freezing them and selling them to restaurants to make them even harder to tell apart from meats meant for human consumption.
6 gerbils, 2 cats, a hamster, and a rabbit.
Experts warn that hormones and medicines used in the breeding of animals for fur, but also the pathogens they carry, make these meats extremely dangerous. Selling the carcasses of the animals bred for fur is unhygienic, and it's prohibited by Chinese law. But a recent journalistic investigation found that many animal farms around the country sell these meats either to private buyers or openly online platforms. And so while one said that some customers bought fox and raccoon tenderloins to make beef jerky, while others sold them as rabbit meat. So a place called Pangaea Lake Village is notorious for selling fox meat as edible meat. One villager involved in the commercialization of illegal meat said that he, and I've never heard this before, he said that he and others in the business use chemical meat essence to transform fox meat into whatever the client desires. He says nowadays there's a beef essence for beef meat.
I have a surprise for you. The raccoon you're eating is actually fox.
But listen to this: mutton essence for mutton, donkey meat essence for donkey.
Wow.
Adding it changes the taste completely, and you can't tell the difference.
So that's
anymore.
what they use in the product. I can't believe it's not donkey.
That must be it. And then you have it and don't even realize
it. Are you kidding?
I had no idea.
Just like donkey. We're going to take the donkey they normally eat.
All right, and then one last story, and then we will wrap things up. Staff at the Pine River Motel in Sheboygan, Michigan, were surprised to find a 3-foot alligator named Wally under the bed when they went to clean a room.
Wait, our Wally? Wally the support alligator?
That's right.
I don't think it's the same one. The guest, an exotic animal handler, had been in town for educational presentations at local elementary schools. It probably is. Casey. He later told authorities he didn't realize that Wally was gone until later and that he had been searching for him. After the Sheboygan Police Department contacted him, the owner promptly returned to retrieve Wally. And his owner said the creature that the staff said was a real friendly alligator was safely reunited with his owner.
Quite a friendly alligator.
It was.
Yeah.
He was lost before.
Yeah, you're right. I remember that. And that is what we have in the bizarre file for you this morning. Alrighty, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Lesson question, trash, and music news on the way.
To go, so we just headed out, trying to get out of there. And
what time? What time would you say? Because when I left. I went up to the bar after and hung out for a little bit. I left around 1 o'clock. You had to leave around
12:15.
12:15.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got back to the hotel, checked out, started my car, went to the bathroom, all that stuff, and then so I started to leave, and right as I'm leaving, a fire truck must have exploded or something.
Exploded?
To the road. It just tipped over. Someone said that they were going 90 miles an hour down the road, and there was they weren't clear.
You don't exaggerate much, do you? It went from exploded to tipped over to 90 miles an hour.
No, someone did say it was 90 miles
It was,
an hour.
okay. Not even the most finely tuned vehicle could travel down that road at 90 miles.
Well, it was traveling at 9 miles an hour because it had exploded and it was flying forward, Preston.
Got it. Okay, so anyhow.
Exactly, yeah. So there was snow getting down the road, essentially.
So there was an atomic bomb blast.
Yes.
So you're looking to get out on the road and get home. Where do you live, by the way, here?
I live in South Jersey.
South Jersey, okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
and
just
what
right over the
road
bridge.
is this, by the way? Is this like, did you get out of?
I got out of the resort, and right in front of me, like I was the next car to go, a police officer started putting flares up and everything.
Casey,
so-
whatever that road is that goes to the resort.
940.
940. All right, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyhow.
So they were redirecting traffic up this hill. It was like the steepest hill I'd ever seen in my life.
There are a lot of them there, yeah.
And trying to drive up, I make it maybe halfway up, and I start rolling backwards. And I don't know what to do. I've never driven in these conditions before. So I'm just sitting there. These people come up to me and said, we'll push you up the hill. We don't really know what we're doing, but we'll push you up the hill. So I'm like, all right, you know better than me. And then this woman comes out of like the thicket. And
she just comes walking out of the
woods?
It appears to me that she was coming out. It appeared that she was coming out of the woods. She, I did learn that she had parked her car up there, and she lived on this really steep hill. It was like a development of houses. And she says, can I get into your car and I'll help you? And she helps me, and she can't get my car up the hill. So
she gets behind the wheel.
She gets behind the wheel.
Because she's done this before. Or we assume because she lives next to this stinking hill.
Yes.
Okay.
So she knows what she's doing, but my car's an old person car, so we're not going to get up the hill. So she decides to reverse down the hill, and as she's doing that, I kind of, I'm really grateful for her, and I'm thankful that she helped me. But I kind of start to realize that she reeks of alcohol.
Oh boy.
So,
seriously?
Man.
Yeah. So I was like,
And it's noon.
all right, well, like the cardboard class is going on. Maybe she was like, there, and maybe she was not there.
But she was thirsty, right?
She was thirsty, and she goes, is this your coffee or mine? And I said, that's mine. And she just proceeded to drink it anyway.
She just picked up a coffee and started drinking it.
Okay, I didn't know that this is where the story was going.
Okay.
Yes. So
At any point did she call you a dirty bird?
no. we didn't
Dude,
get
that's
there.
what I thought immediately. Misery. All right, go ahead.
Seriously.
Well, I need to jump.
What's your name, Annie?
Was this right near the lake by any chance?
It
Or
might have been,
right near like Split Rock? There's another lodge.
yeah, it was right near the lodge.
Okay,
I was
so
about a minute walk from there.
I know this hill. Nick, this is the hill that you and I went down.
Yeah, that's where the fire truck
that
was.
we had to
Yeah.
traverse.
That it exploded earlier.
Down.
Yeah, going 90 miles an hour.
It was scary going down the hill, not even going up the hill. That's okay. So I know exactly.
but you
where this
potentially
is.
have you have someone who's potentially drunk sitting at the wheel of your car trying to help. But you're thankful
Drinking her
for it.
I'm thankful
Drinking your
for
coffee,
her.
yeah.
Yes, and
At least she offered to help.
I let her have the coffee, obviously, and but she was helping me. I didn't know what else to do. And
That's nice.
she gets my car down the hill,
You have any birth control?
and then we end up in a ditch on like the side because the sides of the hill are like divoted down.
Right. Yeah.
So we end up on the side of the hill. Someone pushes my car out, and I'm like, okay, I'm not driving anymore. I'm gonna end up in a ditch somewhere else alone. So she invites me back to her house.
Let me ask you this. Hang on real quick. Did it end up in the ditch with her behind the wheel?
It did.
Oh, my God. Okay. All right, go ahead.
That's when I was like, all right, she needs to get up.
Here,
out
let me
from
help
behind
you. I'm
the
going to
wheel.
run you into a ditch.
Yep.
So I go back to her house with her, and
So you guys had to walk there. You had to walk to her house. You had to go through the thicket again.
How far?
Okay.
She just lived at the top of the hill, so we were
Okay.
able to walk. It was like less than a minute walk.
Okay.
And we get into her house, and things start getting weird. She starts telling me her boyfriend doesn't believe her, that she couldn't leave to come see him, so she makes me call him and tell him that I had been lost and I needed help, so that's why she can't go see him.
Oh,
and there's all these snow conditions.
How old is she? About?
She had to have been maybe late 40s,
Okay.
50s, something.
Yeah, an
not
adult
like a
grown
okay,
woman.
teenage
Yeah.
Grown woman.
Yeah,
My
like,
boyfriend. Do me a favor, sweetie.
so I'm like, all right, I'm thankful that she got me away from the hill, but I need to get away from her now. So I just leave my car at the base of the hill, and she walks me to Split Rock, and I just got a room at the lodge. But the lodge is about a mile away from where the restaurant and everything is. So I spent 30 hours with no food, no drink, nothing and just alone in my room watching
Yeah, because
Pops.
at the base, the story was, and we heard this on Monday, I guess, was, hey, somebody took Christy in. And
Yeah, that was awesome.
She got stuck, and they took her, and she ended up having to stay at somebody's house. We're like, well, that was really nice. It was nice of somebody, a local, a local to help out, and and it ended up being this.
You see, I've known for some time why I was chosen to save you. You and I were meant to be together forever. Now our time in this world must end.
And that was Christy's moment.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to be the mom for a second, but you should have never went with her, and you should have called one of us.
Well, see, the thing is, the Verizon towers went down, so I had no service.
From the explosion of the
fire truck.
Yeah.
So the only time I could get service was when I got into the hotel and I could use their Wi-Fi. So I had already had a room at that point, and I was like, well, what am I going to say? I'm stuck, and you're going to say, me too.
Yeah. All right.
No, but instead of going to, I guess you couldn't get in touch with us, but still.
What was the woman's house like? Was she into taxidermy?
No, it was.
I'm working on this owl.
It was old on the inside. I didn't really want to take a look.
Smell like mothballs?
No.
I was also thinking of Pulp Fiction. Where a spider caught a couple flies.
So here's
Just
the
a
thing.
moment of opportunity.
I have someone who lives in a box in the basement. I'd love you to meet him. Name is the Gimp.
When Nick and I were going down this hill, there was a car that was trying to go up the hill.
That lady was out of her car.
And it was a like a light colored, maybe like silver Toyota something or other.
Did that lady yell at you?
No,
she yelled at me.
Did she really?
About
Why?
what?
Yeah, well, because she didn't want me to go any further because of the fire. I'm not exaggerating. Because of the fire truck that was on its side down that hill, and she was warning me, but she was doing it in a shocking, sort of half-hinged kind of a manner. And I was like, all right, I
You
got
think it was the same woman?
I'm wondering.
Okay.
Was she wearing a red sweatshirt?
I don't remember what she was wearing, but
I'm not talking about that.
Was she wearing a red sweatshirt that said Archie Bunker for president?
That was on Nick. That was on Lake Drive or whatever. The hill I'm talking about that you were stuck on, I believe, was a state.
Yeah, that's what it was called, the States Drive or whatever.
Wow. So how long? So when you got into the house, how long were you in the house?
Well, some clouds approaching later on today, and that'll lead to a cloudy day tomorrow, high 66, and then windy and cooler on Friday. Sorry about that. But Saturday, 62 and partly cloudy, and then Sunday, high only about 50 degrees and sunshine. So today is the shining jewel in the middle of the week.
That's fine.
Yeah, enjoy that while you can. All right, we're going to ask the lesson question for today, and we're going to give away a pair of tickets as MMR is rockin' live, the band, live Thursday, April 24th at the Excite Center at Parks Casino, and you can get tickets through parkscasino.com. So the question that we will ask is, all right, answer this, and you have to sing it. For a taste and more, it's... Okay?
Gotcha.
That's all you need.
For a taste and more, it's... And you get to sing it, all right? And if you know the answer, if you know that little ditty, you need to... We're doing this via Zoom, so text the word Zoom to 39333, and we'll send you the daily link.
Your melody was off just a little bit.
Oh, so you do it.
For tasting more, it's...
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
I was singing a different one.
Yeah.
For a taste in Moritz. What was I singing?
I don't know.
For a taste in Moritz. I have a completely different angle. Okay. For a taste in Moritz. All right. Finish it. We'll do the trash while you're calling in.
The trash business is gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right. It is brought to you this morning by Family Jewelers. If you're planning on getting engaged, you want to go see Angelo and the team at Family and Company Jewelers. You can get her the perfect engagement ring, a ring from Family and Company, South Jersey's diamond destination. What's going on this morning, Steve?
Well, Donny Osmond using AI trickery to create a 14-year-old version of himself, which he duets with during his new stage show. Amazingly, it still takes far more computing power to make the actual Donny Osmond appear to be alive. Lizzo says her massive weight loss has prompted many to wonder if she has had a Brazilian butt lift. Lizzo explains that what people are seeing is actually a new ass formed by sagging skin on the back of her neck. And finally, Farrah Abraham, yes, a teen mom porn star, debuting her new stand-up comedy set at Rhino's Gentleman Club in New York last week. Abraham reportedly had the audience rolling in the aisles as they fought their way to the exits. And that's Hollywood Trash.
All right, we shall see if we get somebody up via Zoom who can sing a little bit this morning and finish the jingle for a taste in Moritz.
Yeah. For a taste in Moritz.
God, I can't do it.
For a taste in Moritz.
Okay. We will go to, in fact, Casey, you're going to have to set up Frank here because I'm not going to do it. I keep messing up. Hey, Frank, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome, bud. All right, so Casey's going to sing this. You finish it. All right, you ready?
Sure.
All right.
For a taste in Moritz.
Encore.
For a taste in Moritz, encore.
That is absolutely correct. Yes. Hang on, Frank. Where are you headed to, Frank? You're wearing a high visibility vest. Where do you work, bud?
Yeah, I'm kind of working at the moment in my car so I could do this.
All right, you don't need to mention it. You had to duck out for it. That's all right, bud. Hang on the line. We'll get your information. We'll give you those tickets. And it's for live Thursday, April 24th at Sight Center Parks Casino.
Cool.
To purchase tickets, you can visit parkscasino.com. Must be 21 or older to go to the event. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
For tasting more, it's encore.
All right, it's brought to you this morning. Wait a minute. Hold on. I like that at the end of that. Yes, hold on one more time. Here we go.
For tasting more, it's encore.
Oh. That is good.
That should be great. One more time?
Yeah, please.
For tasting more, it's encore.
Oh.
That's the person eating.
Yeah.
It tastes so good.
Like it's like a douche chill.
Like, oh, yeah.
For tasting more, it's encore.
Oh.
I'm going to think about that all day. Sorry. All right. Oh, music news brought to you by Camelback Mountain.
We should redo the commercial now.
Camelback Mountain. Join Marissa, Casey, and Nick at Camelback Mountain's 20th annual Pond Skim on Saturday, March 22nd. It's going to be the wildest end of season party on the slopes. Go to camelbackresort.com for details. All right, I was happy to see this morning. The Warning has announced their Keep Me Fed U.S. headlining tour for the summer.
Yeah, nice.
The tour starts in July in Milwaukee and will end in Minneapolis. It's a quick headlining tour, so they're only going from July 5th to July 23rd, and they have a Philadelphia date in there because they've had great success here. They will be playing on July 19th at the Union Transfer.
Ooh, that's a Saturday night, too.
It's a Saturday. Could go to that. I kind of wish it was on a Friday because they could swing by here before the
Who
gig.
knows what their travel plans are? Maybe
it's pretty one right after the other. I looked at the full list, but we'll see. If they have that Friday off, maybe they can make it in. We'll see. So they, before their own tour, they will support Halsey on selected dates for her For My Last Trick U.S. tour in May. Their latest album, Keep Me Fed, has achieved over 155 million global streams and reached #1 on Billboard's Emerging Artist chart. And it marks the biggest album debut for an all-female rock group in the 20s. So good on them.
Yes,
so Union
they
Transfer.
deserve it.
Yep. A new SNL Ladies and Gentlemen 50 Years of Music exhibit, part of the SNL 50th anniversary celebration, is coming to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which that's a great idea. The new exhibit opens on May 23rd at the museum. It's in Cleveland, of course, and visitors will be able to walk through a recreation of the Studio 8H stage.
Oh, I like that.
Revisit key musical moments from the long-running sketch shows, see costumes from across the show's history, and more. The exhibit will also include a 20-minute edit of Questlove's Ladies and Gentlemen 50 Years of SNL Music documentary, and that features footage not seen in the version that streams on Peacock.
Have you guys watched the opening number at least?
It's great.
The whole thing is great.
Yeah.
No, I didn't, and I was thinking about that when I saw this morning because you have urged us to do that. And I've got
Even if you just got like 10 minutes of time, just watch the opening number and then continue to watch the rest.
It's on Peacock, right?
Yeah,
it is. So Buck Cherry has released the music video for Roar Like Thunder, the title track from their upcoming 11th album, which is coming out June 13th. The album was recorded in Nashville at Sienna Studios with Production by Marty Fredrickson, who is known for his work with Aerosmith and Def Leppard. All 10 tracks were co-written by vocalist Josh Todd, guitarist Stevie DeCaney. I'm sorry, DeCaney. I'm not sure how you say his name. And Fredrickson. The album will be released in North America on Round Hill Records. And Todd says the new album is rocking record from beginning to end. Word spread quickly over the last week that the X account for the Dropkick Murphys had been suspended after frontman Ken Casey talked to an audience member wearing a MAGA hat, criticizing the hat and saying that Elon Musk's black version of the hat was the true Nazi edition. The band's account now shows as suspended on X, but it's not what everyone thinks. According to Casey, the band left the platform in 2022. He said, and then someone else took our handle pretending to be our official account. So we filed a legal complaint to put the stop to that, which is why, and it was called at Dropkick Murphys, shows as suspended. But they were the ones who got rid of that. It wasn't because of anything they said or did on stage, but they managed to cancel that fake account. Nickelback is set to perform at the Field of Dreams movie set in Dyersville, Iowa, as part of the Velocity Festival. Their concert will take place on August 31st with country star Brantley Gilbert also performing that day.
Brantley!
Tickets for a Nickelback show go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time with a special pre-sale that does begin today. The Eagles are stretching their time at the Vegas Sphere just a little further. The band announced 4 additional shows at the venue late this summer, and the new dates are at the end of their current run of shows at the Sphere. So September 5th, 5th and 6th, and September 12th and 13th.
So they're at the Sphere throughout the entire summer?
That's a good question. Maybe so, just on the weekends.
Have you seen any of the footage from their shows?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. So the general on sale for the new shows will begin Friday, March 28th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And then I'll mention this again as from our friend Sammy Vile, who asked if we'd give a little plug-a-rooney to his band, Vile Bread. And they are doing a tribute to Radiohead's The Bends. It'll be at 118 North in Wayne this Friday. And he said they're going to perform the whole album plus many more Radiohead tunes. Doors are at 7, show is at 9. And so you can get those tickets now. And he had said, like I'll reiterate, love Chad Zooks. And he said, I mean Sammy Vile. So we'll pass that along. And that's it in music news. We will take another break. This is our final one before we wrap for the day. We'll come back in a moment. You'll get your letter of the day for that very cool Word of the Week prize. And we'll see what Pierre's got cooking. Stay put.
An hour.
An hour?
Oh, you were there that long?
Because I didn't know what to
watch
do.
my stories with me?
What were you? Yeah. What were you guys talking about after you got off the phone with her boyfriend?
She kept asking me like really odd questions.
You'll never know the fear of losing someone like you if you're someone like me.
She really wanted to make me a meal. She wanted to take pictures with me.
Are you a good girl? Are you a good girl?
She just wanted to like document the moment that like she had saved someone.
This is sounding very similar to the Hawaii trip, Preston.
Somebody was texting in and asked if there were swords on the wall.
Yeah, it could have gone that way if she didn't leave.
I don't want to be forward, but I can see your dirty pillows.
Did you take?
You don't want boys touching your dirty pillows.
Did you take your jacket off and hats and gloves and stuff?
Yeah, because I was so like
well, you're lovely.
soaked from being outside, so I wanted to get on.
Do you wonder how I got the smile? I know you couldn't see it with my ski mask on. I have this permanent smile that I gave myself, you see.
And so you were there.
Could you call my boyfriend?
So you're there about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Holy Jesus Christ. You must have thought at some point, I'm going to die. I'm going to get murdered by this person.
Me and Nick just drove right past you.
You didn't know that probably at the same. Yes. They were. What time did you guys leave?
After her.
Yeah.
How long after her?
I left around 12:30, 12:45.
Did you go up that hill?
No, I didn't go that way.
Yeah, I went all the way around and then ended up finding where Casey was.
They ended up coming the opposite way, so they were going down the hill. She was going up the hill.
I was trying to get back to the turnpike on the south side of Dead Boulder.
I felt pretty bad because on my way back to Jack Frost after I tried to get on the Northeast Extension, I came back and I'm coming through the entrance and there was a white, I don't know if it was like a Suburban or something like that, that was in a ditch so far so that it was laying on its side.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it too.
I came upon it, Kathy, and Sayadala Kong Kong. No, I came upon it, Kathy. It must have been shortly after the windshield wipers were still going. They had flashers on.
wow.
And I couldn't stop. I wanted to help, but I'm like, if I stop, I'll get stuck too, and it's just going to make the problem worse. So I just
See you later!
I know. Good luck! I felt so bad, but I thought that I would.
That's when the wood split. Oh, she's got it. Yeah.
I thought that it would compact the problem if I stopped, and then the next day when we checked out and left, it was still sitting there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I wouldn't have been able to done anything anyway.
That thing was fully on its side. What could you
Was
have
there
done?
anybody in it? Because when I passed it,
I don't know.
There were people helping someone out of it. So
Yeah.
there was like I guess Jack Frost security or somebody was assisting.
There had to have been somebody still. Wait, did you go back to the resort?
No.
No, this is on the way to the resort.
Oh, because there
This
was
is
another
across the highway.
There was another
Okay.
vehicle, a similar vehicle on its side, exactly as you're describing.
Okay, but the wipers
a
were still
lot.
on, the lights were, the flashes were on, so it was still running. So people were probably inside of it.
When you were going through the wallet, yeah.
I just. I had to make a decision.
Some money, credit cards.
Quickly, and I decided to keep going.
Nice.
Yeah.
New app, new iPhone.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. It's. I'm glad you got out of there, though, Christy.
Me too.
I could see you. Yeah.
It sounded pretty bizarre.
Are you a good girl?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Don't do that ever again.
Yeah.
Did you get her number at least?
I did, yeah. She wanted me to text her when I got home, but I didn't because I was afraid she was gonna.
Hi, Christy. It's me from the mountain. You remember me?
Her name was Mary, by the way.
Mary's the name.
I wonder if she remembers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, she documented it, pictures and everything.
No, we did not take pictures. I refused.
Really? So what, was she looking for a selfie, or was she going to pose you?
Well, she wanted to take a selfie outside, but I had already taken my shoes off at that point. I was like, oh, it's too much to put my shoes back on. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. That's how you come.
Oh, that's the way it's going to be.
Well, all right. Well, cool. Are you good? Now, you said you're not used to driving in the snow. You know what's funny is the thing you said to me this morning. You go, I'm from New Jersey. I don't know how to drive in the snow. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It snows all the time here in the winter.
Well, I just meant
How
like,
old are you?
Up 23.
Okay.
I just meant like up in mountain snow. I could drive in New Jersey snow.
New Jersey snow, not mountain snow. Okay. Because New Jersey snow has jug handles and mountain snow doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah, it's much easier.
All right. Thank you, intern Christy, with her story of survival in the Poconos on Friday during a nor'easter.
You know her experience is psycho.
Yeah, exactly. In yet another case of medical negligence, in India, the severed leg of a victim was allegedly used at Maharani Medical College as a pillow to prop up the man.
What? This is amazing what's going on here. When you're traveling, you have your junk in a tuna can, and now human limbs are being used as pillows.
The victim claimed...
I sort of missed the iguana story.
That hospital staff used his amputated leg under his head as a pillow.
Does that feel better?
After the case came to light,
thank you.
The college principal assured strict action against those found guilty. She said he was given immediate medical aid. The doctor looked for something to raise his head.
First, I created my pillow. Now, my leg. A revolution in sleeping. You're going to love it.
For the best sleep in the whole wide world, visit myleg.com.
That was pretty damn good, guys.
Thank you.
You're going to love it. The leg contours to your head.
So the doctor looked for something to raise his head. Patients,
there was nothing around like a
shirt
something?
you could wad up or something.
A shirt?
Hey, so Preston had thrown out the stat in the last 4 seasons. Villanova's won more games than any other program in America with 129 wins. And you're... Go ahead.
Only one camp out for Cahunger shootout.
There we go. That stat is missing from the page.
Still gnawing at me.
There's always next year, man. There's always next year.
I got to tell you, Preston, perhaps you can clarify this. There's another stat on this page we have here. Apparently, Coach, you're the most well-endowed head coach for 16 seasons standing.
No.
Am I reading that correctly?
No. He's been Villanova's William J. Finneran endowed head coach.
Oh.
You skipped a few words.
I'm sorry.
16
Very different.
seasons.
I misread that.
Yes.
I apologize.
I mean, he's everything. He's probably that too.
I guess those extra words make it different.
You are officially out of your mind.
It's William Finneran endowed, not well.
I'm sorry. I misread that.
Endowed.
You know what? There's a number of prestigious programs that have endowed coaching positions, and I've never heard that before.
You can teach typing, and that's fine. But I think you're going to default to whatever you're most comfortable with anyway. You know, like
the hunt and peck thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was taught, and I still do it.
I know, but like Jim Antes, for instance, have you ever seen him type?
Is that a hunt and peck guy?
He is our general sales manager, and he uses his whole left hand and then his right index finger, and that's how he types.
All right,
and
I've
that's
seen
what
people
works for him.
that just use the two index fingers and fast.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to watch. Marissa?
All right, going back to cleaning out the keyboards, I actually find it very soothing, kind of like getting a nice piece of earwax out. Have you ever turned over your keyboard and dumped out all the dirt that's in it?
No.
Can we do it to your keyboard that's right here?
Yeah. Go. I don't think. That keyboard.
This?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Tons. This is an old.
Oh my God.
Gross.
It's a Microsoft keyboard here.
It's gonna be bad.
Really?
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, there's a fingernail fell out.
You little slimy bastard.
A fingernail fell out.
That's disgusting.
Burn it.
Oh my God, Preston. That's a pubic hair.
Oh my God.
That's great.
I don't want to hit any of the keys here.
Marissa ran away from the microphone.
So, attorney Marty Singer has filed court papers demanding that FX provide him with all 10 episodes of Trust, a forthcoming series about J. Paul Getty III's 1973 kidnapping.
I'm back,
You're gonna
bitches.
I'm sorry?
I'm back, bitches.
Marty Singer.
Marty Singer's back and into his A. And the show Trust about the Getty family, is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
They believe it's felonious, ridiculous, and absurd.
Okay.
And the family plans to vigorously fight the allegations and accusations made by this ridiculous series starring Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland's in it?
Yes, Donald Sutherland plays John Paul Getty Sr.
Okay. Could you please bring me up to speed? I don't know the story. I may or may have forgotten about the
There was a kidnapping, right?
Yeah.
And there were always allegations that the son or grandson arranged his own kidnapping.
So it was a
right to what I remember, and I'm going to have to say I'm maybe
so the
one notch
grandson-
closer to what than you are.
So there was a
kidnapping, a ransom,
and the grandson trying to get it himself.
And the family's stance on it was they never.
93.3 WMMR. Everything rocks. A little fuel, a little fire, a little that's what I desire. It is 10:34 this Wednesday morning in the Preston Steve radio program, coming to a close as we're headed on the downward slide to the weekend, which is looking a little cooler weather-wise, just making you aware. But today is phenomenal, 70 degrees and sunshine. Enjoy. Today, we did enjoy a lot of fun. Our guests were fantastic. I would like to thank Mr. Brian Tyree Henry.
Yes.
Really, really nice guy. And I got to see this show. I got to watch the right show. I meant to watch Dope Thief, and I watched Deli Guys. And just the D and the Philadelphia connection.
Yeah.
I just pulled up the wrong show, and I enjoyed Deli Guys.
I want to see it.
But you guys are telling me Dope Thief is great. So I've got to dive in and get on this. The first 2 episodes are available now on Apple TV+. The next one comes out on Friday, 8-episode arc altogether. Brian was saying that they plan on it. They've planned on it as being a single season limited series, but it could go on, and obviously they want it to go to another series or so, or another season. So
I don't want them to give away the ending, but keep it going if they can.
Yep. And then we had Bert Kreischer on. Bert's so great. I never get tired of talking to him. He's got a new 1-hour special. It's called Lucky, and you can catch it on Netflix. And he is going to be performing in Hershey. That's his next date that's going to be that's been announced that's in the area. That's his permission to party tour. There'll probably be more stuff because that's not till November. I got to believe he'll be in the area before.
I would
that, but
imagine.
We'll see about that. And Pierre is here. Hey, man.
Good day. Good
to
day.
see you. Good to see you, Sal.
It is lovely outside, as you mentioned in the weather.
Oh, excellent.
I think you've gotten an extra button or two down to expose and let some of that warm air in.
It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't in any attempt to be a sex symbol. It was just neglect.
Just neglect.
Just neglect.
In all honesty, though, do you have to attempt to be a sex symbol? I mean, it's just inherent.
Yeah.
You're right, Nick. Why didn't I realize that? Thank you. What are you doing later? Anyway.
All right.
Back to the normal.
Yeah, back to normal. Here we go.
To this semblance.
So it's lovely out. Let's do the letter.
All right. Okay. All right.
There we go.
When I hear I'm not sure if it's you have something to bring up or.
Sometimes I do.
Okay. Not
Today,
right now.
I don't.
All right.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right. And the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter
E as in enter.
Or.
For tasting more, it's Encore.
Why didn't I think of
Encore.
that?
All right, we're going to give away, by the way, on Friday, a road trip for two to go to Washington, D.C. with Philly sports trips to watch the Phils versus the Nationals on opening day, Thursday, March 27th. For more information and trips, you can go to phillysportstrips.com. So we'll give it away on Friday. Just 2 more letters to go. That's awesome. What's up today, man?
Well, we will have more tickets for the Black Keys at the Borgata. That's August 9th. On sale on Friday. We've got another block of lovely ladies for International Women's Month, a block of Santana, and a block of the Struts.
All right.
A lot of fun.
Excellent. I would like to thank our sponsors, Preston and Steve. So brought to you today by Duncan. The Preston and Steve Show runs on Duncan. And also brought to you by Acme Markets Fresh Foods. Local flavors. Thursday, majority of the work week coming through. Tomorrow, we will have guest-wise Jim Florentine will be checking in. Always good to talk to him, and we'll see what else we can come up with. So that's it. We're done. And you rage on and have a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow, friend. Bye-bye.